Ohio Center for Orofacial and Implant Surgery diagnoses and treats facial pain and injuries, and also offers a full range of dental implants and bone grafting procedures. Look no further than the Ohio Center for Orofacial and Implant Surgery for all of your oral surgery and cosmetic surgery needs. Please visit their website at www.ohsurgery.com.
Good afternoon and welcome to Independence High School for the 2022 Chagrin Valley Conference Spring Sports Media Day. Today is the first of 3 Media Day events we will hold over the next 3 weeks. Today we're out at Independence High School trying to make it a little bit easier for our Chagrin Valley Conference teams to attend these events, so we separated them geographically. Like I said, today we're out at Independence trying to hit the teams on the west side. And then next weekend we will be out east in Geneva on April 3rd. And on April 10th we will close out the Media Day portion of the spring with a event out at Kirtland High School, trying to get those teams out in the center part of our 5-county spread here in the Chagrin Valley Conference with 22 teams. I am Steve Hare, the CVC Sports Information Director, and up first today are the Lutheran West Longhorns, a baseball team coached by Thomas Balla. Coach, welcome. I appreciate you guys making the trip out. Go ahead and introduce the players that you brought with you, and then just kind of give us your little elevator pitch. What can we expect out of the Longhorns this spring?
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for having us. To my right here, I have senior Zach Keller. He'll be playing shortstop and pitching for us this year. And then to my far right, I have DJ Robinson, center fielder and pitcher, first team all-conference last year. We're just excited to get the season started like most teams here, dealing with the weather, being indoor for the better part of the last month. Just excited to get going. We're a senior-led team, 5 seniors who return with varsity experience, along with the mix of underclassmen who are looking to step up in key roles here early in the season, get experience, and play an integral part in our lineup this year.
I know nothing's more frustrating than opening day getting snowed out, and then more snow today. Looks like the whole first week of the season's probably going to get wiped out. But that long preseason, guys are itching to get out and play, and then this happens. But how do you keep them motivated after something like this where, okay, now you got to go back into the gym for another week?
Yeah, we just talk about not being complacent every single day. Every day is a chance to get better and to grow and to work mechanically, to get a feel for your teammates, and just some of the things that you do on a baseball field where you try to simulate that in a gym, and just keep the guys hungry, because that first day is going to come, whether it's tomorrow, although the forecast looks pretty rough with a high of 28 or 29, or whether that's later this week. Just being ready to go, and just continuing to have that hunger within our team each and every single day.
Lutheran West, one of the newest schools to the Chagrin Valley Conference. Your first season was wiped out, 2020, due to COVID. Last year, you finally got a taste of the conference. What did you think, just the competition that you got to play day in and day out?
Yeah, it's great competition. It's good for our guys. You really have to come in with Monday and Tuesday series and having typically a day off on Sunday. There's really no time to relax. You have to be ready to go. We face good pitching usually every Monday, Tuesday within our conference. So every game's a battle, usually typically low-scoring games, so you have to find a way to scratch and claw and get some runs across the board and hopefully win one of those games 3-2, 1-0, 2-1, whatever the case may be. But we're looking forward to that same level of competition this year. Obviously, Independence returns a lot of their guys after winning the conference last year. So that's the bar that we're trying to get to every single day with our guys.
When you look at your squad, like you said, you've got 5 seniors. You're going to have some younger guys stepping in. Where's the strength? I mean, what are you going to lean on all year long?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a combination between our top 2 pitchers who bring back a lot of experience from last year, DJ being a senior on the mound, just a heady pitcher, always thinking, how am I going to attack this guy in at bat, along with sophomore Eric Dill, who we're expecting to throw a lot of innings this year in conference play. I think that's a big area of strength. And I think 1 through 6 in our lineup returns a lot of at-bats at the varsity level. So for us, that's going to be a strength, and then just trying to figure out, who's going to fill that whole 7 through 9 to make us a deep lineup that a pitcher has to work through 1 through 9, and there's no free outs, and we're working at-bats and being really mindful of counts and how we're approaching an at-bat.
All right, we're going to slide over there to Zach, and then, Coach, I'll get back to you to close out the show here, or close out your segment of the show. But, Zach, senior year, coming in, shortstop, pitcher. First off, again, looking at the weather, obviously that's disappointing, but you got to be pretty excited about the year. What are you looking for? What are you hoping to accomplish this season?
Yeah, we're just looking to compete in the conference again. I know we had some great series last year with Independence, Beechwood. Some of those games didn't turn out really how we wanted it to, but we'll look to get some redemption against those type of teams. And, we're just looking forward to getting outside, back at it. It's crazy that one of my 4 years got taken away with COVID, but so that just makes me even more eager to get out for at least a third year.
Going back to the question I asked Coach, just new conference for you last year. How did you like it, seeing different teams and competing against some of the teams that you haven't seen too much?
Yeah, it was good to see some new competition. It's always good. Independence, they were a good team. I know Beechwood always has a solid program. We're just looking forward to getting back at it with the same competition, yeah.
This year, senior year, obviously, you want to go out on a high note. What are you doing to help those younger guys, though? How are you embracing that leadership role?
Yeah, we're just teaching the same work ethic every day. We've really focused on our hitting perspective this year going in. Whole new aspect on our hitting program. So we're really getting those younger guys right into it and, really teach them the work ethic.
Talk about yourself. What do you bring to the table, both as a shortstop, a pitcher, and as a hitter?
Yeah, I just try to do my job defensively, make the routine plays and then do whatever I can to help out. I know a lot of my teammates have my back. And then in the lineup, I'm just trying to be a team guy, usually in like the 2-3 hole. So I'll really try to get on base, get for my teammates, 4 or 5 hitters, get on base for them to do a job.
When you look at most successful teams, they usually have a lot of seniors and then, some other upperclassmen, maybe a couple sophomores, freshmen mixed in. You guys come in with 5 seniors. That's a nice core for you. How is that group kind of gelling together, and what kind of an impact do you think that senior class will have?
Yeah, we have a good team chemistry. I mean, a lot of seniors. We've been working all 4 years. A lot of us came up together, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, let's slide over there to DJ. DJ, I remember you're the three sport guy. Is that?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So you're all over the place, but just coming into senior year, what are you most excited about?
Like Zach said, just getting back on the field. How spring sports was the one sport that we lost due to COVID. So at least getting that last year, and especially for me, playing 3 sports all 4 years, and it's my last sport in high school. So kind of want to go out with a bang and do well in it. So.
Coming into the season, before practice started, what was your outlook, and then has that changed at all now that you've got a few weeks of practice together with your teammates?
I came into the season a little optimistic. We had, like Coach said, 5 returning seniors, so a big chunk of our lineup is coming back. So we're looking to do well and even better than we did last year in the conference. So I was coming in with high hopes, and even the first couple of weeks, I was a little bit worried on some gaps that we needed to fill, but seeing some scrimmages between Bay Village and Padua, 2 pretty decent teams, our younger guys and newer guys seem to step up into the roles that they've been placed into. So I'm even more excited for the season now.
To do much of anything in baseball, you've got to have strong pitching and defense. You're one of those top pitchers. How good is that staff going to be this year, and who are some of the other guys that's going to chew up some innings for you guys?
So we got 2 big guys. Me and Eric will be the main guys that will go during conference games, and then Zach as well. We also have our third baseman, Ben Cruz, who will also be a decent pitcher that will give us some innings. We also have some younger guys, Adam Flashbart, who will give us some good innings as well. And so we're not that deep, but we're deep enough to do well in conference games and out of conference games week in and week out to be a competitive team no matter who we face.
And then defensively, you'll be out there in the outfield, center field. Who's in left, who's in right?
So those two spots were gaps that we were trying to fill coming into this year. Aiden Schultz, a junior, will be in left, and he's a first-year guy, hasn't played baseball in a couple of years, but he's really stepped into the role. He's very fast, so he can cover a lot of ground. The one worry was his bat, but he's been showing in practices and scrimmages that he's able to fill that role as well. In right field, we got Bryce Gropey, who's also a first-year baseball player for Lutheran West, and he's got some baseball history as well, and he seemed to fill the role just as well as Aiden has in left. So.
All right, and just to close out with you, what are your goals individually and as a team this year?
Individually, I just want to build off of the year that I had last year. I did pretty decent in the field and hitting-wise, so kind of just building off the strengths that I had made last year and continuing to move forward in that. And then as a team, just getting better every day and doing better than we did last year. You know, we had a couple of series here and there that we kind of wanted to get back, and eventually at the end of the season it led to us not getting in our goal of winning conference. So kind of going in with mentality that we're going to make up for those games in those series that we had lost, and then along with that, trying to make it deeper in the playoffs. You know, we had a pretty decent first round last year against, I believe it was Norwayne, and then we went in second round to Black River, and we didn't play our best, so I think we could have made it even further. So looking into this year, finishing with a strong ending by going deeper into the playoffs than we did last year.
All right, we're going to swing back to Zach and talk a little bit about the infield. Zach, you're the quarterback of the infield, so to speak, out there at shortstop. Who's to your right? Who's to your left? Talk about your infield.
Yeah, so at third base we have same look as last year, Ben Cruz. He's another senior, another leadership guy that we're looking to. He provides a solid glove at third base. I like having him to my right. I have a lot of trust in him, and he's got a good bat in the lineup. And then at second base is most likely going to be Macklin Rackus. He's actually a first-year varsity guy, but he's got a good glove. He can field the ball, and I'm excited to be alongside him in the middle infield.
And then just same question for you. What are your goals individually and as a team?
Individually, I'm just looking to, same as what DJ said, build off of last year. I feel like I had a good year. I'm just looking to just do my job. And then as a team, I mean, obviously the goal is to win the conference. It's not going to be easy. I mean, this is a good conference. We learned that last year, but we're looking to build off of last year. So.
All right, let's swing that back to Coach. Coach, you heard from a couple of your seniors. What do you think about what they said and just the way that they are dedicated and committed?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I think Zach, he's committed to Heidelberg. And I preached to Zach along with our coaching staff is like this is your launching pad as you head to play college baseball. And then for DJ, as I mentioned at the Open, first team all conference. You know, how do you get rid of that complacency and say, hey, I want to repeat that, but just raise the standard, along with combining that with our goal, our team goals. You know, to win a conference, and we certainly know it won't be easy. And as you heard from those guys, we got a lot of returners. We have a lot of guys who are playing they're going to get their first varsity at bat coming this week, hopefully. And so how do those guys step into roles? How do we deal with adversity as a team? Because naturally baseball is so mental. You strike out, you make an error. That's going to happen over the course of a game and a season. How do we bounce back from those things and let that just be a reminder that we have areas where we can grow, and then just take those Monday, Tuesday challenges each week and try to come out on top. Find a way to, at the end of the 7-inning game, be one run better than those teams that we know are really good that we're going to run up against.
A lot of teams are power teams. They like to come out and smash the ball. A lot of teams come out and play small ball. What's your philosophy? How do you score runs, or how do you look to score runs?
Yeah, I think for us it's going to be a balance, right? Like last year, I think over the course of the season, we had under 10 extra base hits, and we've implemented a whole new hitting philosophy at the plate. And I think you're already seeing some of that pay off in scrimmages, and albeit it's different than a game and you're seeing different arms, but hitting the ball gap to gap, being aggressive on the base paths, and then with some of these new guys in our lineup, how do we get them to be balanced and play small ball for us so that we can flip over the lineup to DJ and Zach and our power hitters that can start to drive in some of those runs. So ideally it's one answer or the other, but I think we're trying to strike a balance between those two things, and over the course of the season that may change. We may see that we're thumping the ball a little more, or we need to find ways to scratch out runs. So it's just going to be an evolving process for us.
And I think that's one of the things I like about baseball, softball. You get so many games where you can come out and kind of try some new things and different things. They're all, 22 scrimmages leading up to the playoffs. So,
right.
So that's a good outlook. Pitching-wise, we talked to the guys, talked about infield, outfield. Where do you see the strengths? I mean, what is it that you just know that, hey, I don't have to worry about this group, every day they're going to come out and be consistent?
Yeah, I think two things. I think our top of our rotation is going to be strike throwers. They're going to give our defense a chance, and I think we have a strong defense behind them. Obviously, with Eric Dill on the mound and DJ in center, that is our best defensive lineup because DJ covers so much ground out there, and he really patrols and communicates. Zach up the middle along with Macklin and Adam Flashbart playing second, Ben at third returning, and Aaron Blaine over at first. We have a lot of returning depth on the defensive side. And I think to combine that with the hitting, just come into the batter's box with an approach every single at bat. You're ahead in the count. What are you looking for? Trying to be a guy that is driving guys in and hitting for extra bases. And when you get down 2 strikes, to find a way to put the ball in the diamond and put some pressure on the defense, and then see what happens. Baseball is a funny game. It just bounces the ball, or air can kind of transform the feel of a game and momentum. So. But I think our pitching and defense, along with our approach at the plate, should give us a chance to be in a lot of games as we head into the 5th, 6th, and 7th inning.
And what keeps you up at night?
It's a great question. I think pitching depth, and not to say our guys can't perform, but a lot of them it's going to be their first action in a varsity game, and just seeing, how do they respond, and how to. Obviously, we have a roster of 11 and 12 when we kind of transform one guy from a JV and varsity back and forth. How do our arms hold up? Baseball's funny when it comes to injuries. It's not as much ligament and bones. It's more how does your shoulder sustain throughout a 22 or 25 game season in a month and a half, because you get a week wiped out, it really becomes a sprint, and you start to pack in 3, 4, 5 games a week. And I think that's the big question for me is where do our arms hold up in the 3 through 6 spot of our rotation.
One of the things I liked about adding Lutheran West and Trinity to some respect to the CVC is you guys in your district, you play a lot of teams that I just don't ever see. You're playing the West Side teams, that kind of thing, in Division II, so that brings in a whole new element. But I still don't know who like the power teams are out in that Northwest district. Who are the teams that that come sectional draw time, you kind of want to stay away from a little bit? Who are the top teams out that way?
Yeah, it's a good question. Usually Elyria Catholic, going a little further west, they're in our district. They usually field a really strong team. I know we've run into them in past years. I'm in the tournament. Going all the way down to Canton Central Catholic, they're typically a top 1 or 2 seed in our district every single year. Now, it's not a team we have very much exposure to, but we know they're kind of laying in the wings waiting for tournament time, and they'll always be someone tough if we get the luxury to run into them in a district semi or district championship. And then we just try to challenge our guys with other schools around. Bay has got a good staff, good team. Same thing with Padua, so we schedule those guys. But I would say from a tournament perspective, on the west side, Elyria Catholic, Canton from the south, and then Kirtland and Hawken and Gilmore always from the east we're wary of when we get to tournament time as well.
Yeah, very familiar with those teams.
Sure.
So yeah, like I said, and Elyria Catholic, Canton Central Catholic, some of the CVC teams have run into them in the postseason, so I'm familiar with them. But it's like the Keystones, and I hear about those teams, but I just don't know the quality because I just don't see them enough. But that's why I like having you guys in there. You're introducing me to some new teams or some teams that I just don't know as much about. So. Outstanding. Well, I do appreciate the Longhorns being here today. Coach, appreciate it. Best of luck to you guys. I'm sure I'll see you at some point during the season, and best of luck to you and your teammates.
You bet. Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Coach. That was the Lutheran West Longhorns. We've got Independence coming up. They should be here momentarily. We've got a full schedule, which you can visit on chagrinvalleyconference.com. We're going to take a quick break right now and recognize our sponsor of CVC TV, which is Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. And we will be back momentarily with the Independence Blue Devils.
Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery diagnoses and treats facial pain and injuries, and also offers a full range of dental implants and bone grafting procedures. Look no further than the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery for all of your oral surgery and cosmetic surgery needs. Please visit their website at www.ohsurgery.com.
Welcome back to Independence High School for the 2022 CVC Spring Sports Media Day West. Again, I am Steve Hare, the CVC Sports Information Director, and as I mentioned earlier, we set this up this year to kind of minimize the travel that our teams have to travel throughout our Media Day events. When you've got a league that spans 5 counties, you've got some schools that are pretty far away from each other. So this spring we tried to do things a little bit differently, make it easier on our teams. And so today we're out in Independence, and right now we've got the Independence baseball team, the defending Metro Division champions here, Coach Jim Crooks. Coach, welcome. I appreciate you guys making the trip. There's a little black switch on your microphones. When it's your turn to talk, just flip that thing up, and when you're done, flip it down. But, Coach, go ahead and introduce the guys you brought with you today, and then just give us your elevator pitch. What can we expect out of the defending champs this spring?
You got it. Well, first of all, Steve, welcome to Independence High School. It's great for you to be here. Thanks for everything that you do to promote these young men. It's awesome.
I'm here a few times. I've been around.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm excited to be here today with 2 of our senior captains and leaders. This is Ashton Lurs, and this is Casey McGee.
All right, Coach, well, give us your elevator pitch. What obviously you're coming in looking to defend. How's that going to happen?
You know, Steve, I got to tell you, we are really excited about the upcoming spring season. Independence Blue Devil baseball. We have high expectations this year. We're really focused on growing individually. Despite the success, notwithstanding the success that our team had last year, we're really focused on growth, individual growth, team growth, and we feel like if we're able to do those things, just commit ourselves to growing individually and as a team, we're going to be successful again this year. We're super excited about the number of returning players that we have, and we're excited about some good new-coming talent as well.
All right, let's slide over to Ashton. Ashton got a first look at you last year. Obviously, COVID wiped out that sophomore season, but last year you had a heck of a season, pitching, playing the field, and at bat. How do you follow that up this spring?
Yeah, I just think, like Coach Crooks said, growing, hitting the weight room, practice, you got to go hard all the time. Our team, we're ready to compete. I think we've done a lot of off-season training that's been good. I think we're ready to compete.
You had some big news over the off season. You've committed to continue your education and playing career, right?
Yeah.
Talk about that decision. Where you headed and what made you choose that school?
I am going to Heidelberg. I committed however long ago. Went on the visit there. We love the coaches. The coach is very welcoming, small campus, good, solid team. I'm excited.
And then your role this year, define that for us. What's Coach looking for you? Looking from, looking. Is it Monday? What is your role this year? What's Coach looking for out of you?
Leadership. I'm very excited to be a leader, like I tried to be last year. I think as long as we keep everybody on page, the work ethic there, we're going to be very good.
Obviously, you're going to be one of the top arms again, and then Coach is going to look for you to drive in runs like you did last year, playing some field. What's your favorite aspect of the game? What do you like to do most?
I love playing in the field, making the tough plays look easy. It's great.
All right, and then we'll come back to you in a moment, but we'll slide down there to Casey. Casey, again, you were one of those top pitchers, consistent hitter, great fielder. Talk about your role this year.
Just like Ashton said, leadership, being there for like the newcomers on the team. Obviously, we return a lot of players, but at the same time, there's new parts of our team. So showing the way that we play baseball at Independence, competing every day together and, stepping on the mound, pitching when I'm supposed to, and then being a good defensive player, hitting when I can. You
had some exciting news last week as well. Maybe it was the week before that, but
yeah.
Headed to Kicking College. So,
yeah.
I know you were a soccer player for most of your life and picked up kicking a few years ago and really took to it. And
yeah.
I know you worked hard to get your name out there, hit the camps. How cool is it just to have that opportunity to kick in college?
It's super exciting. It's a long journey, a lot of hard work, and just be there to show people it's possible, for whatever sport you decide to do. And the fact that, you can change at any point in time. Coming into my high school career, I didn't know if I want to play baseball, soccer, football, and, so just being able to compete at the next level is really exciting.
And let's turn back to baseball now. Last year, obviously, winning the conference title was fun, but you don't want to go out senior year not being able to defend it. What's it going to take for you guys to do that?
Just working hard every day, competing, becoming leaders, me and Ashton, showing people, competing every day, chemistry, building, team bonds together, mixing everything together, and just playing good and hard Independence baseball together.
You guys had an outstanding pitching staff last
Yeah.
year, and I think most of them come back this year. Who else can we expect to see chew up some innings?
Evan Beechwood will join us on the mound, kind of filling that role that Connor Blum did last year, coming in relief. Cy Jolliffe's big lefty. We're going to have him pitch a little bit too. So, there's new parts of our team that we're excited about pitching and just ready to compete.
When you look at your goals for senior year, what are you hoping to accomplish both individually and as a team?
I think our team goal is always the same. We want to go out there every day and compete. And, just whatever happens, I think if we compete our hardest, it'll work out itself. And then individually, just being there, as a leader, showing people the way. And then I think if I just do that, I think everything will follow accordingly. So.
All right. And Ashton, we'll come back to you. Talk a little bit about the batting order. You're one of those guys that hits the ball far. You drive in a lot of runs. Who else is around you that's going to do the same?
We have Rory Corrigan at the 4-hole.
Love Rory.
Casey's
Rory, if you don't know Rory Corrigan, he's just one of those guys that he does all the dirty work, whether it's in wrestling, football, baseball. He's just a guy that he's always dirty, always diving around. I love Rory. Good kid.
Yeah, we're very excited to have him in the 4 spot. Casey's batting the 2nd. Mike's leading off, Mike Andrzejczyk. And the rest of our lineup, I think we're going to be really good.
What's it going to take for you guys to score runs and just do that consistently? You play in a tough conference. You've got a tough non-conference schedule. And then when you get into the postseason, you know there are a lot of tough teams in your way. What's it going to take to do what you need to do consistently?
Yeah, I think keeping the energy up in the dugout the entire game is going to be a very crucial part. Getting in pitchers' heads, getting into the bullpen.
When you look at your team as a senior now, what are some of the weaknesses that you guys are trying to address at practice?
We're pretty sound. We're just trying to grow more. We're not really super weak in any part of our game. We just have a lot of returning players, so I think that's a really good thing for us.
Outstanding. And, Coach, we'll slide back to you. Obviously, you come in, you're the top dog after winning the conference title last year. I know that's your goal again this year. When you look at your team, what are the strengths? What are those things that you just know you don't have to put too much thought into? They're just going to show up every day.
You know, we evaluate our performance based on 4 key metrics. We look at pitching, we look at hitting, we look at our defensive play, and we look at our energy. And when you look at those 4 aspects, we're pretty solid across the board. In our lineup, 1 through 9, just about everybody who comes back has seen varsity pitching last year and successfully seen varsity pitching. So we're excited to put some power hitting combined with some guys who hit for average and who can bunt the ball when necessary and who can pick up bases. So we're excited about our hitting lineup on the mound. Team ERA below 2 last year, and we're returning our number 1 and our number 2 starting pitchers. It's a great thing to have. Plus, you add some other top arms like was mentioned, Mike Andrasic, Evan Beecher, Cy Joliffe. Our pitching depth is going to be there. Our defensive play, once again, we're only losing 1 or 2 infielders and outfielders from last year's season. So 7 guys in the lineup that come back play defensively to see varsity fly balls, varsity ground balls, to be in those pressure situations, which we were in a number of times last year. That's exciting to have that coming back. And one thing that we constantly work on is our energy. We believe that we can win a game before the game even starts with the way we approach the game, with our energy level. And fortunately, we have Casey and Ashton who lead that energy level, and some key underclassmen who do that every day. So we're excited.
And I think the main thing that I look at for this year is obviously you get to the postseason, and in that one game where anything can happen, one bad inning could send you home, even though you might have had a great year. You have to prepare for that adversity that you're going to face, and I think you guys over the long haul you can do that. You might lose a game in a 2-game series, you come back, you win the other one, but when you look at that postseason, how do you get the mindset ready for that win or go home type of situation?
Yeah, it's a great question. I would say we prepare for it by preparing early on. We know that obstacles are going to come, and now we expect them. Look at outside, there's 3 inches of snow. It doesn't faze us. We expect the unexpected, and it doesn't matter. The one thing about baseball that makes it very different than all the other sports is that tomorrow you can go out and play, and you can retrieve a bad outing. But for those 1-game scenarios in the postseason, that is another goal for us. We want to go deeper in the playoffs this year. We start the season knowing that we're going to have pressureful situations. We expect them. We put our players in pressure situations in practice on a daily basis. And we just expect that obstacles are going to come, and we look forward to overcoming them. We're going to go through roadblocks. We're going to go through obstacles this year. We're not going to be frightened or terrified when they come, because they face every team, and they're going to face us too. But we'll be ready, and we'll have the right mindset to go through them.
Last question for you. How do you define success for this season?
Success is growth. From our perspective, we realize that we're going to have a target on our back, and we love being in those pressure situations, especially these 2 guys. We have the Bulldog here with Casey, and we have Ashlandler's a guy who we like to say would put on a gasoline suit and walk through fire to play baseball. I mean, these are guys who love to be in pressure situations, and we were in them last year. Success means making sure that we address those 4 metrics: hitting, pitching, defensive play, and keeping our energy level high, expecting obstacles, expecting the unexpected, and having fun as we work our way through those obstacles. All in all, we're looking forward to an exciting season, Steve.
All right. I got here a little bit early, and I took some time looking at the Wall of Fame over here, and saw your picture up there, Jim. So nice to see you back at your alma mater.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to see. But, yeah, the Independence Blue Devils, appreciate you guys making the long trip out here, the home game for you today. Appreciate it. Best of luck to you this season.
Great. Thanks for all you do, Steve.
You got it. That's the Independence Blue Devils here at CVC Spring Sports Media Day. Up next, we've got the Brooklyn Hurricanes track team. Have them swap out into the hot seat for us out here at the CVC Spring Sports Media Day on CVC TV. It's presented by Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. You'll hear quite a bit from them throughout the broadcast. But right now we've got the Brooklyn Hurricanes track team. Coach, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, introduce the guys that you brought with us, and then just give us the elevator pitch. What can we expect out of your squad this year?
Sure. I'm here. This is Kyle Akins. This is my first year as head coach of the Brooklyn track squad. This will be my 9th season with the program and 5th season at the varsity level. I am here with 2 junior captains of mine. This is Siobhan Holden and Alex Chiclana. As far as our season goes this year, I think it's going to be another year of development for the squad. We definitely have some high-end talent, including the 2 gentlemen here with me today. That we have we have development for everyone, I would say, with our squad. We have some very high-end athletes, one in particular who I'm sure we're going to talk about her in a minute here, as well as some real contributors at the conference level, and then some growth at the lower ends of our squad as well.
All right, we'll start to your left with Siobhan. Siobhan, talk a little bit about yourself. You're a junior. What events do you compete in, and what are you looking to accomplish this year? There you go.
I compete in the hurdles, the 110 and 300. I also do relays. Last year I did 4x1 and 4x4. I'm looking to improve on my hurdle times, get them lower, probably like low 16s, high 17 or low 17s. Really looking to win conferences this year. Last year didn't end the way I wanted to.
I was a baseball player in high school, so I couldn't have, at that time, I couldn't tell you one single event in track. I just knew you ran. You tried to run fast. But now, I've been covering high school sports for 20-some years, and I've covered a lot of track meets. I've come to really love it. It's exciting. It's just fast-paced all the time. And the hurdles are in particular. I love watching. It's just... You see these guys when they take off, they're going so fast, and by the time they end, it's like, okay, yeah, they're tired. Those last few hurdles. But how do you even train for the hurdles? How do you develop that confidence that you need to run full speed and try and clear that hurdle and not lose a step?
First we drill, and we start off with drilling, and then we stretch. Then we practice. We like to practice a lot. We focus on hurdles the most when we go out of practice. We really don't do our relays that much, but we like to focus on hurdles a lot. It's our primary thing.
And when you look at last year, were you satisfied with your performance?
No, I wasn't.
What was the issue?
At conferences, I actually fell and didn't end the way I wanted to.
And how do you fix that this year?
Train harder. It's been trying to buy some hurdles actually and practice on the off season, or if we don't have practice.
Okay. And so you run the hurdles, and then you mentioned the relays.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the relays. Who joins you? Who do you team up with in those relays, and how do you guys look at this season, and what are you trying to accomplish?
I actually team up with Alex Chagrin right here and two other fellow Hurricanes, Donovan Walker and Santana Salmons.
Okay. Who are some of the other kids on the team that aren't here today that you've been impressed with in the preseason?
Jenna Young.
I know Jenna.
Melaine Fernandez. Santana and Donovan.
Okay. All right, let's slide over to Alex. Alex, you're a junior as well. What events do you compete in?
I also compete in the 110 hurdles and 300 hurdles.
Okay.
And for relays, I do 4x2, and I did 4x4 last year.
What's your favorite event?
I'll be 110 hurdles.
Yeah, is that just the quickness of it? And the 300 hurdles are a beast. I don't think I would ever have wanted to run the 300 hurdles. 110 maybe, but doubtful. But what do you like about the hurdles?
The hurdles are just way different than any other event. They're harder, and it makes me challenge myself. It's not just running.
And when you look at the relays, are you the anchor, second, third?
For 4x2, I was the second leg, and 4x4, I was the first leg.
4x4, everyone loves the 4x4. I think they love it because it's the last event and everyone's ready to go home at that point, but it is pretty exciting. But what's your favorite relay?
Favorite relay is probably 4x2.
What do you like about it?
It's just quick, not that hard, like the 4x4. That's painful.
That it is. Yeah. I asked Siobhan, too, who are some of the other athletes that have kind of impressed you in the preseason?
I'll be Jenna Young as well. Melaine Fernandez, Donovan. He's been working hard, especially in long jump.
You guys are one of the newer teams to the conference. So last year was your first conference meet because the 2020 season was wiped out. But what was it like competing in a new league?
No, it was great. There was a lot of new competition. We faced them in basketball as well, so it was good.
Right.
I
You
knew some of
typically,
them.
yeah, you typically only saw them, come district meet time, but now you get to see them in conference. You get to become a little bit more familiar with them. So, anyone out there that you kind of look at and say, okay, I'm gonna, when I'm running, I want to make sure I'm shoulder to shoulder with that guy. I know he's gonna compete well.
Probably my teammate right here, Siobhan.
You just lock up with Siobhan and go. All right. What kind of goals do you have for this year?
This year I want to get first in conference in the 110 hurdles. Last year I got second. I feel like I can do way better and place higher at districts.
All right, outstanding. Coach, we'll slide back to you, and let's go ahead and talk about Jenna Young. Got to see her at the state meet last year in the high jump. I can't remember offhand what she placed, 6th, 7th, somewhere around there.
She was actually second in the high
Second,
jump
there you
last
go,
year.
yeah.
Career best 5'6" for her with that jump.
I have a terrible memory, but yeah, I knew she was there. Got a lot of pictures of her, but so I thought she might be here today. But go ahead and give us, how's she looking here in the preseason?
Yeah, absolutely. She's we have some members of our team on a band trip for spring break, so I'm sure Jenna will have been here today with us, but she's down in Florida enjoying that.
Oh, yeah.
A little warmer than here right
yeah,
now,
I
imagine.
guess if I had the choice, I'd be in Florida too.
Yeah, Jenna is looking really strong as always coming into the season. Now a junior, she competed in the indoor meets as well, finished third in the state there. And I don't think, second in the state last year, obviously a great jump, 5'6". I don't think she's satisfied there. And, she had a great season throughout the year. The second place in the state was the only time all season that she was defeated. I think she broke the conference meet record by 4 inches last year with her jump at the conference meet. So, yeah, not even, not just sneaking by that record, but really blew it out of the water. And she also is working on some other events. Last year she won the conference and districts at the 100-meter hurdles, made it to the regional finals there. So I think maybe getting to the state meet is really a goal and a little bit of a focus for her this year as well to expand upon that work in the high jump. She was second in the conference in the 300 hurdles as well, and that's an improving event for her. So really an all-around great athlete. And, it starts with her work ethic. And these gentlemen right here next to me have a great work ethic when they talk about their work on the hurdles. And, as captains, Jen, another captain of ours, they really set a great tone for our team with their work ethic.
What are your challenges this year? I mean, obviously every year teams go through, they graduate kids, then you got to, plug new athletes into the holes that you have, and you want to score as many points as you can at each meet. So how have you been able to do that, putting together that lineup this spring?
Sure. Our biggest challenge this year is numbers, and that's a place that's been a bit of an issue for us in the past, and is fortunately really an issue for us this season. I see these gentlemen next to me talking about the relays and what we might be doing, and realistically if we're going to be filling out all of our relays this season based on where our numbers are. And it's unfortunate. I'm really proud of the top end athletes that we have here, and a couple more I'd like to a couple seniors I'd like to talk about as well. But where our numbers are, it's really hard for us to compete at the team level, and it changes where some of the goals would be as far as from the team level to the individual level, looking where our numbers realistically are in dual tri meets as well as the invitationals and into conference and district meets.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of track coaches, and as the postseason approaches, a lot of them are like, well, this team's really good, but this one has a better chance of getting out, so you have to adjust your lineup that way. You hate to see it because of the numbers. You wish you could fill out every relay with quality athletes and go out and compete. But you mentioned some other seniors. Let's hear about them.
Yeah, we actually have 2 seniors on our team, and both are pretty strong competitors. The first on the ladies' side, Ashley Chong. Is I say long jump is probably her specialty. For us last year, she finished 4th in the conference meet, cleared 15 feet for the first time, finished 5th at district, so 1 spot away from qualifying for regional. So I know she was pretty devastated that she didn't make it out of districts last year. Going into her senior season, that's going to be a big focus for her. And then on the men's side, long jumper Donovan Walker, who I know these two alluded to as well. He was actually a regional qualifier as a freshman back 3 years ago with broke the 20-foot mark for the first time there. Last year had a 20-foot 9-inch jump, which was really strong. Didn't quite translate when we got to conference meets and districts, but still finished 3rd in the conference in the long jump and 3rd in the conference in the high jump. And there's definitely room for improvement there. And I know he is really dedicated to making the senior season after that gap in his sophomore season. Going into last year, really dedicated to making this senior season count and making it his best season yet as he looks to get back to regionals.
When you look at what you've got coming back from last year, some of the new faces you might have, obviously Jenna and the two gentlemen you have here with you, Siobhan and Alex, you've got some high expectations. What do you see as realistically, like, what are your goals for the team?
Yeah, we try to focus on our goals really at the individual level. I know both these gentlemen here talked about winning the conference meet, and obviously, maybe they'll split their two hurdle races if I had my preference. But we looking forward throughout the season towards that conference meet and towards districts. This is a build-up, and we started our season Tuesday, and we have 3 meets this week. Obviously looking outside right now, very, very excited about getting out there for 3 meets this week. but those are well important, and we're really competing in those meets. It's a build-up early in the season towards those later season, a couple relays and invitations later in the season into the conference meet, and then eventually districts.
Last question for you. Any surprises? Who can we look at and say, ooh, where they came out of nowhere to win a conference title or get to districts or regionals or state, whatever? Anybody like that out there? I'm not. I've talked about a lot of our junior and senior athletes here. We do have one freshman I'll mention here, Allie Malin. She was a conference champion last year in the high jump at the middle school level coming into her freshman season. I think she cleared 4.6 last year at the middle school level, and that's not too far away from being competitive at districts already, even at last year. She obviously has someone in Jenna to sort of look up to and model after her jumping after, and so that's really becoming one of the strong suits of our program is that high jump, along with our long jump athletes and hurdles. That's really maybe one more of the focuses of our program is some of those events that rely on athleticism and offer a little bit of extra technique and a little bit extra excitement there for our athletes. All right. Well, that is the Brooklyn Hurricanes track team here. Coach, I appreciate you making the trip. Alex, Siobhan, best of luck to you. I'll see you out at a couple of meets for sure, but appreciate you making the trip, and good luck this spring.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you this year.
Thank you. All right, next up here at the CVC Spring Sports Media Day, live from Independence High School, is the Independence Track and Field team, another defending conference champion. We'll have the Blue Devils here taking their seats here at the head table. Got a whole crew, and there's Coach Crooks. Coach, you going to squeeze in? Kyle, you might have to go that way just a little bit. Ava, follow. Skylar. All right. I think we can get you all in there. Good. All right, Coach, I'm going to have you just start out, introduce everybody you brought with you, and then just kind of give us your elevator pitch. What can we expect out of the defending champs this year? Oh, you need to grab your mic and make sure it's on. Flip that up. There you go.
Next to me is Jack Tellifer, senior, Skylar Licklider, senior, Ava Moriel, senior, and Kyle Zigmund, senior. My elevator pitch would be tried and true in 22. That's our goal this year. We're trying to get back to where we were last year, which our ultimate goal is state.
Had a couple guys down there. Was it the relay team? And Casey on the girls' side.
And Madison Stepanek.
And Madison throwing, right. Oh, yeah, I should have known. She was on the cover of the preview, the graphic I created. So, okay, so you've got a lot of talent coming back, and I assume some new faces as well?
Yes, we have a strong senior presence this year, and we have some newcomers that we're looking to be hopefuls to help fill some voids from that missing senior class.
Obviously, you bring back your seniors here, and the other kids that were down at state. You lose Madison, but so you're bringing back a ton of talent, and that's gonna help. So I've got to imagine your expectations aren't any less than they were last year, and they've got to be a little bit higher, in fact.
Absolutely, but we have a major goal to keep everybody healthy to get to that level. So we're being realistic in an approach that, we want to keep these guys healthy as we're competing, getting stronger, getting that base that we need, but then when it's go time, then we go.
Before I talk to your superstar seniors over here, any new faces you're really excited about, or anybody that's kind of impressed you in the preseason that maybe has shown some strides from last year?
I'm excited about a huge group of people, actually. A couple that come to mind right now would be Grace Tollifer on the girls' side. She's a junior coming out for the first time, doesn't have a lot of background in running. She's actually a state volleyball player.
Yep.
but we're excited to see what she does this for us this year. Also, we have a lot of depth with the speed. We have a lot of who else would Owen Samansky, CJ Behanabic, both throwers. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there.
All right. Jack, I'm going to pass it over to you. And I know you were one of the guys that made it down to state last year, so I'm assuming you want to make it back there. But go ahead and just tell us what events you're going to compete in this year, and then what kind of goals do you have for their senior year.
Yeah, so I'm in the 200-meter dash, the 4x1, the 4x2, and the 4x4. Obviously, the goal is to get back down to state. It was a lot of fun last year being down there competing against some really good athletes. Takes a lot of work to get back down there, though, so we just have to start new. Last year was great, but it's a brand new year, so we have to work just as hard to get back down there.
What have you done to kind of improve upon your performance from last year?
I think more just being a leader this year, being a senior, trying to get the younger guys up to speed, just kind of show them what the standard is around here for our track program, make sure they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing, and that they're comfortable around us.
Do you have a favorite event?
I love the 4x2 and the 200. Those are probably my favorites.
And then just the relays, who are you teaming up with to compete in those relays? I know Kyle's in a couple of them with you, but who else?
Yeah, Kyle's in the 4x2, 4x4. Lucas Martinez, Emmett Stralka, Landon Jacek, Matt Wisniewski. Those are going to be some of the guys I'll be running with.
Outstanding. What kind of goals do you have individually and for your squad this year?
Individually, I want to advance, in the postseason to regionals and state and as many events as possible. But just have fun. It's my last year playing a high school sport. Just want to enjoy every second of it and make the most of it.
You mentioned fun. I don't think anything was more fun than going out and winning the was it the district title
district championship, boys and girls.
That was a lot of fun. So that was a good time. All right, Skylar, let's move on down to you. Go ahead and tell us what events you're going to compete in this year. I know you were a regional qualifier in a couple, right?
Yeah, so I think this year probably 100 hurdles, 300 hurdles, long jump, pole vault, 4x1 hopefully sometime this season. So, yeah.
Pole vault, is that new for you?
No.
I don't remember.
I've been pole vaulting for like 4 years.
You did it last year?
Yeah.
Okay, I just have a terrible memory. So I'm sure I have 8,000 photos of you, but okay. So what's your favorite?
I think hurdling's my favorite. I love 300s and 100s.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone say they love the 300 hurdles. They do it. They like it, but love it? That's crazy.
I don't know. Hurdling's just like past 2 years, just like I've really excelled in it. I've learned how to focus and get better each year. So
we were just talking about the fun of winning that district title, and I think one of the things was that just everybody seemed to like each other, and I think you guys, and volleyball, football, basketball, I've seen it in all these other sports. You guys, your senior class, even the junior class, you guys just seem to get along really well. How much does that help the overall success of the athletic program here, because every sport has had a lot of success?
Yeah, we definitely bond like no other team I've ever been on. It really helps with relays, especially. Having that connection with your relay team is really important. But I feel, especially this year, the connection's there. Like, we're really excited. We're ready to go.
All right, and then just individual goals for you. What are you looking to close out your career with?
Hopefully states. I really want to go and compete down there. I was kind of upset about last year not going. I was almost there, but definitely that's my goal.
Outstanding. All right, Ava, go ahead and introduce your events. What are you competing in this year?
So this year I'll be in the 4x1 as well with Skylar, the 4x4 pole vault, and then the fourth event kind of changes, meet to meet, open 4x2, just kind of whatever.
Any favorite events? What do you like to compete in the most?
Definitely the 4x1 is my favorite. I love the relay, and that's kind of the best one, short and sweet.
And pole vault, how did you get into the pole vault? I always ask kids, like, I mean, pole vaulters they're just nuts. Do you agree, Kyle? I mean, they're nuts.
So I went out for track for the first time last year, and Skylar actually made me try it just randomly on the first day. And I was like, okay, it's not that bad. And the coaches were like, we think this could be something that you could be good at. So I just kind of stuck with it.
So just run full speed, stick this thing in the ground, hurl yourself through the air, upside down, and that's fun.
Yeah.
No, not for me. No. What kind of goals do you have for senior year?
Personally, state as well would be the end goal, but throughout the season, I just want to enjoy it. Kind of like Jack said, senior year, last high school sport. Kind of just want to have fun and just be with all my best friends, best team. Just kind of have fun.
I'm not sure that Independence has ever went back-to-back as district champs. So when you talk about a legacy, you guys have that. Is that a goal? Have you guys talked about that?
We haven't really spent much time talking about that, but obviously it would be amazing to do it again. I mean, that was such an incredible day, and everyone just performed so well, so that would definitely be a big success.
All right, let's go down to Kyle there. Kyle, 4 years ago, as a freshman football player, I saw you as an athlete for the first time, and now it's been 16 seasons later, something like that. How many varsity letters? It's
I think in total 11, because I didn't run track my freshman year. But other than that, I think I've lettered every other year.
And I've been covering high school sports for 23 years now, and I've come across a lot of great athletes, but I don't think any of them, I've seen state champion wrestlers, first team All-Ohio football players, but to do everything at such a high level that you do, it's really impressive, and I'm going to miss you when you're gone, so this is going to be kind of a bittersweet spring here just watching you compete for the last time, but it's been a lot of fun, and just to see you, basketball, you do your thing, you're an outstanding player there, same in football, and come to track, I always thought that track was just kind of your way to have fun, but you're really good at that too.
Yeah, thanks.
What events are you running this year? I know the 2 relays. What else?
Well, for me, they want me to kind of based off of every meet, just kind of where we can get the most points off of who's there. So primarily I'll do high jump, the 4x1, 4x2, 4x4, and the 400. Probably a cycle of those 5 or 6, and I mean, I'm comfortable doing all. Doesn't really matter to me. But, yeah, I like who we have as our relays teams, and being an individual event, just kind of got to give it your all.
What was it like competing down at the state meet there? And just, I mean, you guys had a great season, and then just to see the teams that finished ahead of you, how fast they were.
Yeah. It was probably the most nerve-wracking 48 hours I've been in a sport that I've been a part of, because on qualifying day, Josh Bielitz was our 4-leg runner, and he's within the last 10 meters, and he stumbles and he falls over the finish line for us to qualify at the next day. So, and we were in lane 8, and then me and Jack had probably the best handoff we've ever had all year, and just getting third in that, and then going and do my 400 and getting 6. It's just a feeling that you're just I accomplished something. It's just a great feeling. Even being on that podium in 6, you're just so proud of yourself, and just all the hard work that you put in.
And then just how are you going to define success for yourself and your team this year?
I mean, last year we didn't get to run at Jesse Owens, so I mean, I'm gonna start, I guess, telling people you got to run on the 9-lane track, because that's not something you don't see throughout the whole year, and we didn't get to see it last year, and I know all 4 of us want to see it. Ms. Crooks wants to see it, so that's our end goal, is to be at Jesse Owens.
And then lastly, a football question for you. You're playing in the North-South game, I hear?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you.
What are you looking forward to about that?
Probably most looking forward just to seeing how well everyone competes with each other. I mean, it's such a big event for all across Ohio, and so many great athletes are in it. And I mean, having Coach Adams there, being a coach and representing the school, it just puts Independence on the map, which is the ultimate goal for me.
I didn't know he was going down to coach, so appreciate it. All right, Coach, back to you. Just last comments here. How are you going to define success for your team? I mean, last year, it's hard to say, if we don't win a district title this year, it's disappointing. But at the same time, you did it last year. You returned this great core of kids. You've got to have pretty high expectations.
We do have high expectations. However, there's a realistic approach with this. Track's a puzzle piece. We're constantly moving around to see who fits in that mold. We want to see a repeat with the district meet, but that's not our end goal. Our end goal is to get kids to regionals. So if we don't win districts, I will be sad, but I want to get as many athletes out to the regional meet as possible. And really, like, this group of seniors this year, across the board, they just it's been a fun run. I've been with them since they were in middle school, and it makes me actually like want to cry. So it's a special group, and it's going to be a fun season. So whoever said that in this group, it's going to be a fun season. I totally agree. So
outstanding. Well, I appreciate you guys coming out on a Sunday afternoon. Appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you. I think you guys start Tuesday?
Tuesday, home.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah.
As long as the snow is gone?
Away. Thanks, Steve.
All right. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate it. Good luck to you guys. That was the Independence Blue Devils, the defending Chagrin Valley Conference and District Champion track team. Up next, we've got the Beechwood Bison baseball team. They'll be taking their seats here at the head table out here at the 2022 CVC Spring Sports Media Day. This is our West version. Next week, we'll be out in Geneva for the East Media Day, and then we'll close out our Media Day events on Sunday, April 10th out at Kirtland, hitting all those teams in the central portion of our 5-county conference. So the Beechwood Bison, come on up, guys. I like it. They bring their own table decorations. That's preparation. I like it. All right, Coach, I'm going to start with you. Just go ahead, introduce yourself, and then I know the first-year head coach here at Beechwood, so welcome to I don't think you were an assistant last year, right? I was not. No, okay. You've got a little switch on your mic there if you flip that up.
Perfect. Better?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so no, this is my first year at Beechwood. My name is Ben Shepard. I've spent the last 18 years as a head assistant and a pitching coach at Talmadge High School in Summit County.
Okay. So go ahead, introduce the guys you brought with you, and then just give us your elevator pitch. What can we expect out of the Bison?
This is two of my captains, senior captains. This is Brendan Malik and Clay Tepper. Our other one couldn't be with us today, who is Will Owens.
Okay.
So what I would say about Beechwood this year is coming in from my years at Talmadge, I'm very, very happy with what we actually have, on our team right now. We have a lot of seniors. We have 6 that are going to contribute heavily this year, with 4 juniors, a sophomore, and a freshman. So that makes up our core of 12, and then a lot of guys working for other spots on the roster. What I would say about us is we're very versatile. We got guys who can play many different positions. Our speed, I love our speed. We're going to run. We're going to challenge you. We're going to test you. We're going to do the little things. We're going to put pressure on the other teams, and we're going to make them get us out. So it's going to be a lot of, I necessarily don't like the term small ball, but we like to play that way. We like to put pressure on you, and we like to keep you on your toes.
All right, and I'll come back to you here in a moment, but let's go ahead and, Brennan, grab that microphone, make sure it's on, flip that switch up.
Good.
Yep. What positions are you playing this year, and then just kind of what is your outlook? How excited are you for this new season?
Well, I play short and pitcher, and, we're really excited. We're ready to build off what we did last year, which, we got moved to D2 last year midseason, and, we kind of got to where we wanted to be last year, and, just really excited senior season,
You look at the Metro Division. We had Lutheran West in earlier. Independence was here earlier. It's a tough division to play in. It definitely prepares you for the postseason. How much fun is it, though, to compete in that division where every game is a challenge?
Yeah, it's really fun. You get to prepare for the postseason and, just growing as a team, building relationships with people. It's what it's all about, really.
Beechwood's had this long legacy of successful baseball teams, and I know you guys take a lot of pride in that. I think there's still a guy playing Major League Baseball right now, right?
I think Coach. He's coaching in the league.
Oh, is he coaching now? Yeah, I covered him 8, 9, 10 years ago, however long it was. So, you guys have always had some great players and great teams. How important is it to you to continue that legacy?
Well, it's everything, really, representing Beechwood and building off of what other people have led and left for us, just representing, really.
When you look at you said you're the shortstop.
Yeah, shortstop pitcher.
Look at your infield. Who else is in there, and how are you guys gelling?
We got Luke Bennett in there, middle infield guy, third base. Freshman Josh Rosenblatt, sophomore Sam Greco. Then we got Matt Blumenthal, senior, and a bunch of guys over at first base. We can really gel. We're smooth in the infield. We get along together. It's gonna look good.
And what kind of goals do you have for this season?
Personally, I'm aiming big, CVC MVP, but just team-wise, just win every game, just play the best of our ability, compete every game.
All right. Clay, go ahead and tell us what positions you're going to play this year, and talk a little bit about that important thing to me is always that legacy. How important is it to you to carry on the tradition of Beechwood Baseball?
So I play outfield and first base. It's really important to me, that legacy, just to build off of what they started. And the seniors last year left a lot. They showed us how to become a better leader and everything.
Talk about your outfield. Brennan just gave us the skinny on the infield. Who's joining you out there in the grass?
So senior Will Owens will be out there. Vince, Jacob Green, he also plays outfield. We're really deep in the outfield, so we have good depth.
All right. And where's the offense going to come from? Who are the guys that have impressed you so far this year?
So Luke Bennett, he should be our one hitter. Drew Kalen, he's really come along. Vince, Brendan. Overall, we have extreme amount of depth all over our lineup, 1 through 9. We should be strong. So.
What kind of goals do you have for this season?
So I want to be a leader on and off the field. And then for our team goals, I want to have a deep postseason run. Last year we made it to sectionals. I think we could go way deeper this year with all the experience of us coming back. So.
Bringing in a new coach, sometimes there's some stuff that's lost in translation, and takes a little time for guys to gel and understand what the new coaching staff is looking for. How's that transition gone?
I think the transition has gone great. We have great coaching staff this year. He's really setting goals, specific goals for us, and really showed all our parts to becoming a successful team. So we should be coming together.
When you look at this upcoming season, what are the challenges that you see your squad is going to face, and how do you think you guys will be able to overcome those moments of adversity?
I think overall there's not really one big challenge. I think it's just playing together as a team more. Overall, we're pretty strong all around. We have great chemistry on and off the field. We have great depth on the field, a large amount of talent, everyone. So.
Outstanding. All right, Coach, we're going to come back to you, and you heard what your guys said. How right are they?
They're 100%. And Clay, you left yourself out on hitting. Clay's going to tear it up this year. So Brendan and Clay both will. We are strong. 1 through 9, and even 3. Up to 12. To really our core. The biggest thing is to set goals. We set short-term goals and long-term goals. I mean, our goal every time I've got ready for the season, last 20 years coaching, is state championship. That's what I think about first and foremost. How do we get there? What do we need to get there? Now, granted, you have a long way to get there. One of the big things we do is our 7 sprints at the end of each game. Those sprints indicate how many games it takes to get from that sectional game to that state title game. I never want them to forget that. But in the time, first couple games, first part of the season, we want to just play baseball the right way. We want to make sure we're playing it the Beechwood way, the way we've started to create a culture of how we treat each other, how we treat our opponents, and how we treat the game itself. So those are our short term. We build up. We want to win league, and then we want to build off of that district, regional, and states. I mean, I truly believe we have the talent here to make a deep run.
Coming from Tallmadge, you're not as familiar with the league as all the other coaches are. You probably are familiar with Chagrin Falls, who's up in the Chagrin division.
I mean, I coached last year. I had to take over and coach the district final game last year against Sweeney at Chagrin Falls. So I'm very familiar. We played them every year. They're very, very good. I was actually I thought they maybe were in our side, and I was kind of discouraged they weren't. We weren't able to get them on the schedule early enough, but we will definitely be playing them every year. Familiar with Orange over on that other side, just because they've had great programs, and it was nice to, it's good to come up here sometimes. But besides that, I've leaned on these guys a lot about the rest of the teams in our league and teams around us, because I haven't. It's we're kind of separated by Route 80 there, and it kind of keeps you up and down unless you get in with other really good teams.
Right. So how is that challenge? How have you dealt with that challenge? Just kind of learning about the other teams and scouting them a little bit.
Yeah, it's different. Especially since they went to the big districts. It used to be, okay, I can narrow in on 10 to 11 teams. I can get out there, big scout. And I have my coaching staff, Scotty Knoll, who won a state championship with Hoban last year. He brought him over. I taught him in high school, so he's over with us. Mike Paulo's over with us. So I trust my coaching staff about as much as anybody trusts them. So we like to get out and scout as much as possible. But like I said, the bigger districts now kind of hampers you that in a little bit. But at the same time, I have to reach out to guys that I've played against and that I've coached against, and these guys as well, to kind of try to learn more about these teams this way.
The guys talked about the infield, the outfield, touched a little bit on pitching. We talked about the hitting. Pitching's obviously, one of those cornerstones of any baseball team. Who do you have there?
So, that's kind of my, where I like to narrow in on, being pitching coach for years. So Brennan's our number one. True Blue number one coming. He hasn't thrown a lot in high school, which surprised me when I got in, but he's an amazing pitcher. Already stepped up. Will Owens, who isn't here, lefty. We got a low to mid 80 guy. He's going to be our number two. We have a bunch of guys in the pen: Dylan Kay, Matt Blumenthal. Just trying not to leave him out. Brett Zawatsky. And then we have a freshman, Josh Rosenblatt, who will definitely be throwing a lot for us this year. So I'm very, very happy. Every year I use about 5 to 6 pitchers, especially, I think that's good. And we're sitting about 6, 7 to see who actually beats each other out at the end of that rotation.
Outstanding. All right, that is the Beechwood Bison here out at the 2022 Spring Sports Media Day West version. I appreciate you guys making the trip out, and I'll see you a couple games this year for sure, so appreciate you coming, and best of luck to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Welcome to the league, Coach. That was the Beechwood Bison here. Next up is the Independence softball team, the home team here at our CVC Spring Sports West Media Day. Another new coach, although she isn't new to the league. She has been around the Independence program for many years. I don't want to say how many, because then it'll give away her age, and she might punch me or pick up that ball and throw it at me. But Mallory Koback, glad to have you here. Glad to see that you stuck with the program, and the program's in good hands. So go ahead and introduce the girls you brought with you, and then just give us your elevator pitch. What can you expect, or what can we expect out of your squad this season? Sure. Flip your microphone on. There you go.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Right to my right is Sophie George. She's one of our senior captains. And then to her right is Ashley Porter, another one of our senior captains. As far as our elevator pitch, we're ready for this season to start already. I think that we have had very intense, focused practices. And our overall intent this year is just to do our job and try to win as many games as possible and try to get as far in the playoff run as possible.
I know you return the bulk of your team. Obviously, you bring Ashley back. A pitcher in softball is of utmost importance, and you have a really good one in her. Most of your infield's back, a couple new faces. Most of the outfield's back. Mm-hmm. And then I think the biggest change is you have, I think, a freshman catcher this year, and we'll talk about her shortly. But just knowing that you bring back the core of your team, and starting with the pitching and the veterans that you have back, you've got to be pretty excited for this first season as a head coach.
Very excited, yes. It's a very stressful situation to be a first-year head coach, but like you said, I've been here for a long time, and I've had a very good example set by Gary Moore, who's still with us on the JV level. So it is stressful, but at the same time, having that large group of returning athletes has been a comfort for me. It's one of those things where we walk into practice and I don't have to worry about them. I can focus my attention on our freshman second baseman, our freshman catcher. So they have definitely made my life a lot easier than it would have if they're not here.
When you look at the transition from a new coach to another, or from one coach to another, a lot of times the players don't buy in. You don't have that issue because you've been here. How much has that helped not only you as a new head coach? It kind of takes away some of that burden, but it also helps the players just to know that they're not learning anything new. They're just going out and doing what they've always done.
Yeah, both of us can just pick up right where we left off. I've known these girls since they were, 10 years old. Ashley, whenever she finally came into this community at 10 years old, I think in 2014, your first summer in the community, I had her on my little youth 10U team. So I've had both of them, and we've known each other for a long time, just like they've known Gary Moore for a long time. So they know that they are in good hands, and I also know that I'm in good hands as well. We preach the same mentality from when they first start softball to whenever they are in or at the high school level. So it makes our job easier, and they already know the expectations that I have set for them. And I also know that they have expectations set for me, and we have this mutual agreement that we're going to hold each other accountable and do whatever it takes, because we know it's not just about us individually, but us together as a whole.
All right. Sophie, we'll start with you. Outfielder, center field?
Yep, center field.
All right, and so you're one of those returners. How has that transition gone from Coach Moore down to Coach Koback now?
I mean, it's been great. I've been working with Mal, over the past few years, just infield, outfield, and last year we had a solid outfield with Keely Sears in left field and Kat Rieger in right field. So as far as the outfield goes, we're really excited, and we've kind of had the past year to really work well with each other, find what works for us. We have great communication, so we're excited. We're ready to go.
Yeah, you bring that whole group back, Keely in left and Kat in right. Kat was a freshman last year. Keely a sophomore last year? So
freshman last
year. Oh,
she
was
too.
A freshman too? Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, so now you guys, you're veterans in that outfield, and I know you guys played well together. Kat had a nice season, made a lot of big plays out there in right, and Keely, she's got a solid bat most of the time and came along pretty well in the outfield. But you as the leader in center field, you've got to patrol a lot of ground and kind of keep the other two outfielders in the game. How do you do that? You were a soccer captain, so I know you've got that leadership and you know what it takes, but how are you applying that to softball this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about communication, just talking well with Kat and Keely and even our middle infielders. Just we know how to back each other up, and I think we're good at communicating, knowing, if I could get there first, Kat or Keely are right behind me, just right there underneath, ready to catch the ball in case I drop it. So it's great. It's been working so far for us.
As an outfielder in softball, sometimes you can lull yourself to sleep a little bit unless you have especially when you have a pitcher like Ashley who mows them down, and you're not as busy as some other outfielders might be. How do you stay in the game?
I mean, just continuous talking, calling out every single play. That's been a big thing for us, just being loud and being able to say, hey, like Kat, take a step back, Keely, take a step back, and listening to the coaches and listening to where they want us to go based on each hitter, and Ashley's putting the ball over the plate, and I think we're always moving around in the outfield, always moving our feet right before every pitch. So.
And talk about the depth in the outfield. We know who the starters are, who's going to compete for some time out there or step in when you guys are smashing some team by 12 runs in the fourth inning. Who's coming in to get some time?
So we have a couple of players, Cameron Mazzola and Ali Biondi and even Cookie Johnson, who will be stepping in.
Cookie?
Yep.
Love it.
Yeah, that's her nickname.
I love it.
They'll be stepping in, in case of injuries and whatnot. Hopefully that doesn't happen with injuries. But, yeah, they've been practicing with us, and they've been doing great as well. So excited for them, too.
All right. And just being your senior year, what kind of goals do you have for yourself and for your team?
Individually, I think that I just want to be a good leader, set a good example for the team, especially the younger players. We have two freshmen, Macy McGee at second base and Paige Preby at catcher. So just giving them the confidence and telling them, hey, like, you got this, you're here for a reason, you came to play, you're in the field for a reason, and just have that inner confidence. As far as the team goes, I think just bringing the team together and really, focusing on confidence too. Hey, like, whatever, you made a bad play, that's okay, pick yourself up. Have a short memory. That's what we've been focusing on in practice, and just picking yourself up, picking your teammates up.
All right. Ashley, on to you. Back in the circle, also one of the team's top hitters, probably the top hitter if I remember correctly, but I don't remember all the stats. But, good to see you back. I know you guys have so much potential this year. As a pitcher, you have to be really feeling pretty good knowing that almost your entire defense is back. The same girls that mashed the ball last year, most of them are back. How good does that make you feel when you step in the circle?
Yeah, it's definitely a really big confidence booster, knowing that I have everyone behind me who can always back me up in any situation. A lot of our girls are always giving out their all in every situation, so it's really nice. I can be confident and calm in the circle.
For you, you had a catcher for the last few years. She's now gone, graduated. So now you get a freshman. How's that battery coming along with you and Paige Preby?
It's definitely different. I mean, obviously I was with Kayla for 3 years and I've known her a bit longer, but it's really nice having a fresh face there that I could always, like, you know, get to be a new friend with. So we've really been working with her and I'm excited for her.
I always love to watch Kayla play because a lot of catchers do what she did, but she just did it with so much grace, diving for balls, and she just was always dirty, and just, you know, that's what you like to see out of a catcher. And is Paige the same style? Does she get after it the way Kayla did?
She's definitely an aggressive player. She's working harder to be towards that. I mean, obviously she's a freshman, so she's got a couple years ahead of her, but she's going to be there.
What is the biggest challenge for Paige as a freshman catcher? You don't see many freshmen that step into a starting role as a catcher, but you know, obviously when you've got some veterans around her, that helps. But I also saw her in basketball, and she seems to be like a take charge kind of kid.
Yeah, definitely. She's very confident in herself, which is a very good thing. We have her back always, so we're just trying to get that into her so that she can, you know, be more relaxed back there and know that we have her in any situation.
Sophie kind of outlined the outfield for us. You can do the same for the infield. We already talked about catcher.
Yep.
We got Anna Weber back at first.
Yep.
Macy McGee, the freshman, at second. Natalie George moves from third to shortstop, and then Ashley Nero at third, correct?
Tiffany Niro.
Tiffany. Gosh, sorry, all these names. But
Yeah.
sorry, Tiffany. Don't hit me. All right, go ahead. Give us a breakdown. How are they looking so far?
Obviously they are starters, so they're probably super strong in their positions, but then we have a bunch of people that we could always opt out and switch out and give in different situations. Like we also have Allie Biondi, who could come in and pitch, and Tiffany Niro, obviously. So we'll switch out some people at third. And then depending on things, we had Natalie George catch for us a scrimmage, and that was a fun thing. And yeah, just versatility with all of our players is a big thing that we have, and it's really exciting to see.
Watching your rival, Cuyahoga Heights, last year make that run to the state championship game, you guys had to sit at home just kind of saying, that could be us. What would it take for you guys to make a similar run?
I think we just need to stay confident in ourselves and hone in our skills. We have been doing that for months now, and, you know, just really be ready for all situations. Show us what we have instead of talking about what we have.
And then just last question for you, just individual goals and team goals. What are you looking for?
I'm looking forward to meeting all these new players, obviously, and keeping everyone a team and working hard towards, obviously, the end product, going farther than we did last year, which I think is very possible. And then as a team, really bringing everyone to show what they have in every situation. So, yeah.
All right. Coach, back to you. You know, typically when there's a coaching change at any level, it's usually because the last coach wasn't successful. And then you come in and you've got a couple years to really not worry about the stress and pressure of having to win. You're not in that situation. You're taking over an established program with a lot of returning starters. And not to say there's more pressure on you, but it's a good situation to have. How cool is that, just to know that you're coming in and you get to kind of just carry on the legacy and instead of reestablishing it?
It's a good feeling, but like you said, it is stressful. Gary is a legend here in Independence, and I've been around him for the past 17 years doing the same thing. So for me, it's just about a switching of role rather than a change of my coaching style. Gary and I have always been, and his daughter Shannon and Coach Penna, we have been each other's yin to our yang. So we are, it's the same coaching group, just in different roles, and it's exciting. The mentality holds true. It's just like we play hard, we're intense about it, we have fun, and we do our jobs. We are very focused, and I know that Gary has had to hold me back in the past, being his assistant and just saying, like, calm down, but like now I'm the boss, so we could do what we want essentially. So we're gonna pick up right where we left off. We're ready to go. Mentality has not changed. We're ready to play already. Unfortunately, the weather does not look good for us for our home opener this week. So it's a bad feeling, but then at the same time, it just gives us an extra week to work. So We're not going to sit down and waste our time. We're going to continue to use this time to prepare and do as best as we possibly can. It's all about execution for us. We put our players in stressful situations during games or during practices, so we're prepared in a game. So if we can execute those same situations in a game, we're going to be very successful this year.
I'm going to throw the Cuyahoga Heights question
Always,
at you,
Steve,
too.
always.
Is when you see that, and, you know, in high school sports, most kids dream of going to state, and you know, for most kids, it's just not even, you don't even get close. You get to the district level and great season, maybe you get to regionals and you celebrate that, but to get to a state final, it's hard. But when you see teams that you compete with and you know these girls well, and it starts to become real, and how do you kind of get the girls to believe that, and hey, we could do this too?
I mean, we went 1-1 with them last year. We lost against them 2-1, and then we smoked them in the second game. I'm good friends with Kyle and Brandon both, and we're super happy for their success, but we also know that we're at the same level as them. But again, it's just about, you know, we didn't make it that far or as far as we would want to last year because we didn't execute. And unfortunately, in the game of softball, if you have one bad game, like that's it for you. And we kind of just ran into that one bad game, unfortunately. So we're ready. I mean, we have all the tools that it takes to be successful. But as far as Heights go, I have much admiration for the coaches, but like at the same time, it's not about them. We're focused on our season, and that's it.
Outstanding. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I know you guys,
we are too.
The potential is there, so now it just comes down to, like you said, you have to execute.
Yes.
And I think you've got the squad to do it. So
I do too.
Best of luck to you in your first year, and good luck, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for being here.
Have a good rest of your day. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks. That was the Independence Blue Devils softball team here at the 2022 CVC Spring Sports Media Day. Up next are the Hawken Hawks, Coach Aaron Brandt. I know they are here behind the screen. Be joining us here momentarily. Once again, CVC TV is presented to you by Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. CVC Commissioner Don Lewis and his teammates over there at the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery have been very good to the conference, and glad to have them as our presenting sponsor. And now I'm happy to have the Hawken Hawks here with us. So, Coach Brandt, welcome. I'm going to have you start out, just kind of introduce the guys you brought with you, and then give us the elevator pitch. What can we expect out of the Hawks this year?
Sure. Thanks for having us.
Use your microphone there and make sure it's flipped up. There you go.
Thanks for having us,
Perfect.
Steve.
Not that you needed it. You're bellowing, but all right.
So I brought with me my two captains this year. Tommy Clark here sitting in the middle, senior 4-year letter winner, be a starting first baseman for us, and probably our third or fourth guy on the hill. And Devin Anthony, probably our ace on the staff, and also a 4-year letter winner, and we'll be starting in left field when he's not on the mound. Also probably our 3 and 5 sticks in our lineup. So two very valuable guys who are great team leaders as well. As far as our season, we got pretty high expectations for the year. We had a really nice year last year, and we only lost 2 guys off of that squad. Valuable guys, but guys that we think we have somebody ready to replace them with. So we're really excited coming into the season. These guys will tell you we just got back from a 3-day trip to Cincinnati where we actually had a little bit better weather and got a few scrimmages in down there. So we're excited to get going.
Quite a bummer to come home and see this, right?
We're used to it.
Yep. But yeah, I always enjoy watching you guys play. I think over the last 10, 12 years between you and Chagrin Falls, just you've been the class of the CVC, just the most consistent team, just always performing at a high level. You have the Berkshires and the Kirtlands and all these other teams that have had good runs as well, but just you guys have always been just up there and just fun to watch. So, some great individual players, but then whatever you do, whatever recipe you throw together, it always works. And congratulations on that. But
I appreciate that. And we've been very fortunate that we've had a lot of great families and kids who are committed to playing baseball and enjoy the sport. That makes it an easy job for me.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, one of the things that I always tell coaches at these things is the teams that I find that are always the most successful, their coaches are usually the ones that go above and beyond and you send information, you send scores, your preview, you know, I could have wrote a book off of it. And so when you do all those little things, I think your guys see that and they buy in, and I think you inspire them to do that. So on you, that's a big pat on the back. I appreciate it, you know, what you do for the kids. So and it pays off, obviously. So let's go ahead and we'll start with Tommy there. Tommy, you've been around a long time. You know what Hawken Baseball is all about. You know about the legacy. How important is that to you, just to leave it better than you found it 4 years ago? Flip your switch on that mic. There you go.
Oh, yeah, very important. And, I mean, this year especially, you know, I think we've got all the winning pieces. We just have to figure out, you know, how to put them together. A couple new guys, a couple, you know, young faces, but we're going to try to figure out how to put those pieces together. And for me especially, my dad's an assistant coach, so the legacy part is very important for me.
First baseman, pitcher, I'm going to have you talk about your infield. Give us a breakdown, who's at second, short, third, catcher, and talk about how that group's coming together.
Yeah, so we got two returning guys at third and short. We got Nick Bollinger at third, consistent player, and Khalil Suggs at short. Second base, probably Lucas Brandt. He's a sophomore, had surgery last year, so he's new to the varsity team, but looking very good. He's had a couple slip-ups in Cincinnati, but we're working on those, working on the inexperience and trying to work past it.
What are the biggest challenges for that infield group?
Probably just we sometimes have these, you know, snowball innings. We have one error that leads to another error. So working on, you know, the mental game, just like if you make an error, you know, it's whatever, and have our teammates pick you up, make the next play.
When you look at this season, you guys I already put your preview out. Coach, like I said, he went in depth, so I know a lot about the Hawks. Excited to see what you guys can do, but inside the program, you guys have to be just as excited.
Absolutely. As Coach said, high expectations for this year, and, you know, only losing two seniors, we have a lot of the same guys, a lot of the same team chemistry. So we're very excited. You know, obviously we're going for that CVC title. Just missed out on it last year with Chagrin in our conference, and hopefully make a deep run in the playoffs.
All right, let's slide that down. Devin, we're going to talk pitching with you since you're the ace of the staff. I know you, Tommy, Josh Bransel, who else is out there? Tom,
yeah.
Geez, I can't get names right today. I just did it today with a girl I've covered for 4 years, and I can't get the names right. But
yeah,
go ahead.
Definitely. Myself, you know, Dom, as you mentioned, we got Lucas coming in this year. As Tommy mentioned, the second baseman. He's a real strong arm. Looking forward to having him this year. We didn't have him last year. Big piece. Tommy as well. Obviously, Eli Thompson. He's a junior. He's coming back. He had a really strong season last year. For myself, last year, I wasn't able to have the best season I wanted to. I had an arm injury I was dealing with later on. That kind of hindered me towards the end of the season. Wasn't really able to contribute in the way I wanted to, and Eli stepped up for us big last year, so we're looking forward to that this year. And we got a bunch of other guys that come in and pitch when needed, you know, in later week games, or they all do a great job. You know, we've been working this offseason really hard. Really looking forward to it.
You return most of the defense. You've got a great catcher. So from a pitcher's perspective, you've got to just be chomping at the bit to get out there and play. What's it like to just know that, you know, if you go out and do what you can do, you know the guys behind you are going to get the job done as well?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's awesome. You know, that's kind of a thing that's been the way I pitch. You know, I pitch to contact. You know, I don't try to blow the ball by guys or kind of, you know, get outs that way. I kind of just pitch around guys and work, you know, weak contact. Last year was really big, especially in the Gilmore game, I remember. My stuff wasn't on early, but I was getting weak contact, and there were guys making some spectacular plays behind me. I was fortunate to get out of there, got the win. That was kind of like the start of it, and our defense kind of gelled from there out. As Tommy was mentioning with the defense, kind of got to figure it out still a little bit. We got some newer guys, but once we figure that out, we're going to be a really, really sound team.
When you look at everything you guys bring back, you know, we've talked about it, the excitement's there, but at the same time, every team has some of those things that, you know, they've got to iron out, whether it's before the first game or, you know, before the playoffs start. What's that issue for you guys? Where's the weakness?
Yeah, as Tommy mentioned, you know, the defense putting everything together. Our at-bats were pretty solid down in Cincinnati. We had some good at-bats, but making sure that we keep quality at-bats and keep the defense in check, as well as throwing strikes. That's the big thing that I've noticed as a captain, being able to throw strikes and getting the defense involved that way. You know, when you're throwing strikes, the defense wants to make a play. They're behind you. and they want to make a play. They want to be there. When you're not throwing strikes, people are kind of back on their heels, and they're not really excited to make a play, and that's where those snowball innings that Tommy mentioned happen. So making sure that we're throwing strikes, and then defense behind making plays. Our hitting will come, though. Confident our hitting.
Obviously, going down to Cincinnati, or a lot of teams go down to Myrtle or Florida or wherever, it allows you to get on a field, whereas up here, you might get lucky and you guys have turf and you might be able to get out there every once in a while. But the best part about those trips is the team bonding and the way that you guys can come together. How did that go over that little trip down to Cincinnati?
Yeah, that was awesome. We're all good friends. The bus ride, making jokes, having a good time, and then in the restaurants, obviously. We have an annual team dinner at the Montgomery Inn.
I was going to say, was it Skyline Chili or Montgomery Inn?
Montgomery Inn.
It's
they got
one
some
of them.
Good ribs, man.
Yes, they do.
Team dinner, sitting down with those guys, watching some March Madness, eating some ribs. There's not much better than it. And then back in the hotel, hanging out with the guys, playing cards or just hanging out, whatever. It's a real great time. It was super fun for me. I'm happy we were able to go down.
Yeah, that camaraderie and the team bond, it's important in every sport. But in baseball and softball, that grind of a season, you play so many games in just a short amount of time. That's so much more important, just because you spend so much time with these people and in the dugout and trying to keep that energy level up. So, yeah, those trips are awesome. I love to see kids take them. When I coached, we went down to Florida. We had 7 kids, and we went down anyway, just so we could get on a field. And so that was a ton of fun. But, all right, Coach, I'm going to throw it back at you. We talked pitching. We talked infield. Talk about your outfield, and then I want to talk about Dom again and just what he brings to the table as your catcher.
Sure. So in our outfield, we'll have Devin starting in left field on the days he's not pitching. We have a tremendous center fielder, Jalen Suggs, who covers a ton of ground. Like you said, you've been to our turf field enough that there's a lot of space out there.
There's a lot of space.
And it's always helpful to have a center fielder who can track balls down, and Jalen does a great job of that. In right field, we have James Ciafani is starting the year there. James and Jalen are both seniors as well. So we have a group this year of 8 seniors, so that's another reason for some of our high expectations. James does a great job out in the outfield. He's kind of a jack of all trades. We move him around a bit. He fits a lot of different places. But he's a quality teammate that has developed into a good right fielder. And then we've got a couple other guys that will piece in here and there. Eli Thompson, who Devin mentioned as a pitcher, is also going to get some time in the outfield. Paxton Lashinger, who's one of our backup catchers, is going to get some time in the outfield because he swings a good stick. We need to find a way to get him in the lineup some days. And as you mentioned, Dom Bransel, who is our top-notch catcher, who had a great year last year, led the area in a lot of offensive categories, but don't want to discount what he did defensively. These guys right here will tell you as a pitcher, you really rely on that guy who can shut down an opposing team's running game, and Dom does that. And he calls a great game, and his skills behind the plate in controlling pitches that aren't perfect is tremendous as well, and helps these guys out, gives them confidence to be able to throw whatever pitch they can in whatever count.
Yeah, I was out at your Independence game last year, and he blocked a couple of balls that I don't think there were many catchers that could have done that with guys at third and second. And I think that game was a 1 or 2 run game, and you don't make those plays, and that result turns out a little bit differently. So yeah, definitely a key to have a guy like that.
You know how, as well as anyone is in baseball, there's so many little things like that happen. I remember our game against US when Khalil Suggs made a diving play at short that we didn't. I think it was a guy on second, right, and who took a big turn at third then, and we got the guy at third, and he saved an extra run, and we ended up winning a 1-run game. Similar things with Dom behind the plate, being able to just not let kids advance that extra base. That's such a huge deal in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not letting a guy get into scoring position or even move up one base.
Yeah, and it's important just when guys understand that, I can't get to the ball, but if I can dive and at least stop it, you may not throw the guy out at first, but you're keeping them from moving an extra base or other guys moving around. And
there's so many ways in high school to still score from third base.
Yep.
That you just got to prevent them from getting there as well.
Yeah, so when they pay attention to detail, make that effort, it pays off. So
yeah.
Two questions for you. Strengths, weaknesses. What are they, and then how do you maximize your strengths and minimize your weaknesses?
Well, I'll start with the weaknesses because both Devin and Tommy already touched on it. Our weakness right now has been our infield defense. We've got some great kids there. It's just a matter of consistency. We'll make 9 out of 10 plays, and then on the 10th one we'll make an error, or it's usually not even an error on the fielding. It's usually rushing a throw, as high school players tend to do, and then we start to try and pick each other up, and instead we kind of compound the issues. So that's the one area that we're looking to improve on after our 3 scrimmages down in Cincinnati. I think our biggest strength is our depth of our pitching staff. Devin ran down a little bit of the list there. We've got 5 guys that I have no problem throwing in any situation in a varsity game, including the 2 sitting up here with me today. And after that 5, I feel like we got 5 more that are going to give us innings as well. So we're going to be able to get through those 4-game weeks and those even 5-game weeks.
Right, when that weather
starts to pile up. So I think that's our best strength. Not to discount the fact that our strength on the offensive side is there as well. As I said, we have 7 of our 9 starters returning, and I would say it's probably 95% of our run production is returning.
That's going to be needed as you make that run in the Chagrin division.
Yep.
I remember those battles you had when you were down in the Valley or the Metro with Beechwood and Kirtland. So some really good games there in Berkshire, and now you're up there with the Chagrin Fallses and Oranges. So you guys have been tested early and often, and you'll get a lot more of that this year. But
that's correct.
I think you guys have the pieces in place to do it again. So best of luck to you. Appreciate you guys coming out and making the trip out here, and definitely appreciate you changing your time to accommodate me. So appreciate that. But good luck to you guys this year. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
You got
Appreciate you taking the time with us.
Thanks. That was the Hawken Hawks, Coach Aaron Brandt. Up next here at the 2022 CVC Spring Sports Media Day West version, we are live from Independence High School. We've got the Cuyahoga Heights, now the Red Wolves. They had their new logo unveiling last week. Very exciting. Saw Superintendent Tom Evans rip off his shirt. Just some exciting times out there at Heights, starting with a new head coach. And Coach Stryker, welcome to you. I'm going to get to you guys in a moment, but I think you are the 3rd new coach, but you're the 2nd that has just been a long-time assistant, so that transition hasn't been very difficult for the team. But welcome, Coach, and congrats on getting the new gig. I think you get the bigger bucket now, right? You get to sit on the bigger bucket?
To sit on, definitely.
All right. So go ahead and introduce the guys you brought with us, and then kind of give us your elevator pitch. What can we expect out of Heights this year?
All right, sounds good. So I have Andy Domzalski, a senior 3rd baseman, next to me to my right, and then Noah Phillips on the far right over there, middle infielder, right-handed starting pitcher for us as well. As far as our elevator pitch, we're young this year. We lost 8 seniors to graduation for our district runner-up team last year, but our kids are excited to play. We're ready. We've been working hard all preseason and everything. We have a couple starting pitchers that we can work with that should give us some good innings to work with. Our defense has been fairly solid in the preseason so far. Hitting's going to take some time. It's going to take some time in general for us, just getting those innings out there from a pitching standpoint, defensive standpoint, and swinging the bats. Just seeing the live pitching, a lot of our players haven't had varsity experience. So while it could take us a while, it was kind of a similar boat last year. We didn't have much experience like a lot of teams coming off the COVID year. That if we can just get those quality reps in, get those at-bats in, we're hoping to be playing our best baseball by the end of the season.
You've been around the program a long time, going back to Mark Lowther's days. You were with him a long time, stuck with the program, and now you're the head coach, and there's another Lowther on staff, so you bring Brett back.
He's been a great help with us so far, and then having old Coach Lowther with us, he's popped his head in a couple practices, been helping out some of the kids, preaching his words of wisdom. Some of the kids don't know who he is, but he's there helping us out, and we really appreciate any words of wisdom that he has for our kids.
Outstanding. So we'll talk to the players. I'll come back to you, Coach. But Andy, 3rd baseman, let's talk about this transition first. You know, you have a new head coach, but he's been with the program. How much does that help things, just to know that, hey, you already know Coach Stryker, and, you know, I can't imagine he's changed too much, but just from a player's perspective, how has that transition gone?
It's definitely nice having a familiar face back in the I don't know, the team this year. You know, a third head coach and a third year of baseball isn't the easiest route to take. So it's nice having a familiar face and a great mind for a coach too.
Outlook as far as a new team, new coach, a lot of new faces, graduating eight seniors. How's everything coming together here in the preseason?
It's slowly coming together. Losing 8 of our starters, me being the only one left, is definitely a challenge. But the young guys are stepping up to the plate, like Noah here. I think it's going to be a early growing pains for sure, but we'll definitely bounce back like last year.
What have been the biggest challenges here in the preseason? Obviously, all the new faces, that goes without saying, but, you plug guys in and, you hope they can go out and do what you want them to do. But those challenges, where have they come from?
Some of the challenges have come from just getting guys to get their preparedness or preparation, a lot of guys haven't seen a varsity pitcher, and we have some great pitching in the conference, so getting these guys ready to see that and come out and compete is going to be the biggest thing. Having some guys coming into a game only seeing a JV pitcher is going to be hard, and I don't know. That's what we've been preparing them for, I guess. Yeah.
Well, you're the starter at the hot corner there, third base, so I'm going to let you talk about the infield. Give us a breakdown. Start at first base, work your way around. Who are we going to see out there?
At first base, we have Gio Yakabuchi. He's a good bat for us, and looking for him to step up at first base this year. And then at second base, we have his cousin Dominic Yakabuchi, who also hasn't seen any varsity time, but looking for him to step up this year. And then at shortstop, we have Noah splitting it with Andrew McDonald. Whichever one's not pitching, they'll step up, and then me at third base. So that's how our infield's looking. And then at catcher, we have Andrew Yunke, who's taken over for Owen Honsaker last year. So a lot of young talent, but we should be able to rely on our fielding.
All right, let's slide over to Noah down there. Noah, you're a middle infielder and a pitcher. I'm going to let you start out by talking about the pitching staff. Where's the strength coming from? Obviously, you're in there, and Andy's in there. Who else can we see on the hill?
So we got Andrew McDonald, pretty solid. He had some experience last year on varsity. Then we got Derek DeSanza. He's going to be one of our closing pitchers. Pretty good. And then we got Joey White and Dylan Mormile. We can expect to see pretty solid outings from them closing for us. Just get some solid innings.
Going back to the coaching transition, coupled with replacing 8 seniors, a couple difficult challenges there. How have you guys handled that adversity, and what are some strategies you've used to kind of settle in a little bit quicker than maybe otherwise if you hadn't done something different?
I think it does help that he's been coaching here for a pretty long time, so we definitely it's been like a familiar face, I think it was an easy shift for us because without having to switch to a completely new coach, especially after last year, just a totally new face. It wasn't exactly comfortable with the organization. I think now that we have him, it'll be a lot easier, just smoother.
All right. Cuyahoga Heights has had a legacy of successful baseball teams. How important is it to you guys, and either one of you can answer this, just how important is it to kind of carry on that tradition and keep that legacy going?
I'll take it. It means a lot to keep the legacy going. My family's deeply rooted in the school too, so it means a lot too. We expect nothing short of a district title, so that's what our goals are set on. We got there last year. We came up short, but this year we expect no less than that. So I would say that's my goals for the season, continuing the legacy for sure.
You want to chime in there, Noah?
Well, I mean, I haven't really had any varsity experience, so for me, it's just obviously I know what's happened in the past. Hopefully we can keep it going throughout this year and next year, and just make it as far as we can go.
Outstanding. I'm going to throw it back to you, Coach. I think the biggest question I have for you is there going to be a Coach Stryker T-shirt like there was for for basketball?
I sure hope not. Those things are hideous.
Oh, those were awesome. Come on. No, that was great. I love to see it. But yeah, for first year as a head coach, what have been the challenges for you? I mean, it's different when you come in as an assistant. Now you have to deal with all the parent issues. You got to deal with some of the inner squad issues that you might face. But how's that transition been going for you?
Sure. At the beginning, I think it was a little overwhelming, especially transitioning straight from basketball season, since I coach basketball, straight into baseball season. The seasons overlap a little bit. But having the staff that I do with Brett Lowther and my dad coaching, which is another blessing to be able to share this experience with him, they've been able to help the transition a little bit. My dad's been with the program for a number of years, so a lot of the kids know him already. A lot of the kids already know Brett from previously playing at Heights, so that has certainly helped. Becoming new to making practice plans, that's been a little bit new. Usually I just show up in the gym and whatever the head coach wants, that's cool with me. So, but the kids have been great to work with. They've been understanding. They've been flexible. Obviously, you have to be in the spring season. You can see by the weather outside. Things are going to change all the time. Gym time's going to change. We don't have sometimes the biggest facilities to work with, but the coaches in the spring between track and softball have been very flexible, and the kids have been very understanding when it comes to that sort of stuff.
Outstanding. With the kids, we talked about the infield and the pitchers. I don't want to exclude the outfielders, so I'll let you run through that group.
Sure. In left field, we'll have sophomore Anthony Kutuzis, and center we'll have junior Jacob Duvall, and in right field, sophomore Derek DeSanza. Between the three of those guys, we have probably more team speed overall than we've had in the last several years, so they should be able to do a pretty good job of tracking down the baseball out there. Jacob did get some experience playing a lot of defense. Now he got designated hit for a lot coming our playoff run, but he did get the experience playing in the outfield, so that's why we slotted him in center field so he can kind of take charge out there for us.
Outstanding. And then just I'll leave you with this one is how are you going to define success this year?
I think there's a lot of ways you can define success. Sure, obviously you can define it with the wins and losses. Like these guys said, we'd like to go out there and compete for a district title every year. That's one of the goals at Cuyahoga Heights with the legacy we've had from Coach Lowther to now. But also just seeing these guys grow up and getting 1% better every single day and continue to grow and developing those relationships with their teammates and just having a positive experience to remember. I think that's one of the most important things about high school sports. Yeah, we all want to win, and that makes it a more enjoyable experience, but just overall being positive to be able to remember these memories 5, 10, 15 years from now, I think that's what makes high school sports a success, is to make this a great experience for these guys.
Indeed. Well, welcome to the head coaching ranks.
Good
to see you there. Love seeing longtime assistants finally get their due, and good to see you. Hope you have some success, and best of luck to you guys as you embark as the Red Wolves for the first season. So best of luck to you, and thanks for coming out.
Thanks, Steve. Really appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
You got it. That was the Cuyahoga Heights Red Wolves here at the 2022 CVC Spring Sports Media Day here at Independence High School. Up next are the Lutheran West Longhorns softball players. Let them give them a moment here to step into the hot seat. Hi, Coach. Just kind of squeeze in, try and stay within that width of the table, and we should be okay. All right. Great. So the Lutheran West Longhorns are up here at the 2022 CVC Spring Sports Media Day. I'm going to start, Coach. Go ahead, introduce yourself, and then kind of introduce the players you brought with you, and then give us your elevator pitch. What can we expect out of the Longhorns this year? Grab your microphone and make sure that black switch is up. There you go.
I'm Amy Sullivan. I'm the head coach at Lutheran West. This is Michaela Spellich, Lily Thomas, and Savannah Crowley.
Okay.
And looking forward to this season. I think we're just looking to compete. We're still in the process of building the program, so every day is something different, but that's kind of where we're at.
All right. Last year was your team's first year in the CVC. Would have been 2020 had COVID not wiped out the spring. What was that like, just kind of seeing all these new teams and competing and trying to learn about all these new teams and players?
Well, last year was my first year, so it was all new. So there wasn't, I didn't have the luxury of knowing the conference before us. The CVC is a tough conference, like no questions asked, top to bottom, tough. So baptism by fire for us.
All right. Michaela, we're going to start with you. Go ahead and tell us what grade you are and what positions you're going to play this season.
Okay. I'm Michaela Spellich. I'm a senior. I'm a catcher and a third baseman.
What do you do most often?
This season, I don't know. It's kind of just depends which pitcher we have going. Like, that's how it is across the board. Depending on who's pitching, it depends where you play. Last season, I was catcher pretty much almost every game, and now I think I'm going to see more third base this year.
How different is that for you? Are you comfortable bouncing back and forth?
I think the only thing that's similar is the speed at which the ball comes at you. That it's a very different position. I haven't played third base in a long time, but I think the mindset that we have this year, it's you got to do what you have to do.
In senior year for you, how exciting is that? It's got to be a little bit bittersweet as well, just one more season.
Yeah, it's exciting in the way like you're like top dog right now, but it's nerve-wracking because you want to leave an impression and you want to do everything that you can to leave the younger folks with a way to go out, and you want to go out big and go out strong.
All right, I'm going to come back to you in a moment. We'll slide down to Lily. Lily, go ahead and tell us what grade you're in and what positions you'll be playing this spring.
So my name is Lily Thomas, and I'm a senior, and I am the first baseman.
All right, another infielder. So looking at, same question I threw out at Michaela. It's the senior year. Like I said, it's exciting for a number of reasons, but then it's also bittersweet because in 6 weeks, 7 weeks, you're going to be done.
Yeah, it's really sad. Like, I've been playing softball all of my 4 years, and I've played with all these girls, and it's really sad that these friendships that I've formed and all these relationships that they're going to be gone soon. Well, not gone, but it's going to be the end of our season, but I'm excited. I think we're going to make an impact this year.
So we've got the hot corner, third base. We got first base, shortstop, second base. Who's going to step in there?
So currently we have two second basemen, Kayla Kren and Kelly Kashabek. Kelly Kashabek, this is her first year playing varsity, so she's new, fresh, so I'm really excited. And then at shortstop, we also have two, Kristen Zach. That's kind of been her position the last 4 years, but she also dabbles in outfield like Karina Cedeno? Both, however you want to pronounce it. She also plays center. Her and Kristen kind of switch, and Karina's dabbling in short this year, so I'm excited. Oh, and Ari, a new freshman, so we have different people to choose from, and it'll be interesting. I'm excited.
How's that infield coming along? Obviously, Michaela's going from catcher to third to catcher, breaking in some people at short and second, and then you're there. But so obviously you guys have to gel together, communicate, do all those things. How's that process?
At first it was a little bit rocky. But as our season's kind of been going along, we've been building this chemistry together, and as of right now, I say it's very strong. I'm very excited.
All right, let's slide down there to Savannah. Savannah, you must be an outfielder.
No, surprisingly, I'm not. I'm a senior. I play catcher and some second base.
So you're the catcher, okay. So I thought we were going to have an outfielder because they didn't mention you, but it's just not I can't remember names, and now I thought I had this one nailed. And so catcher and second baseman.
Yep.
So I love catchers. We talked about it earlier, just the way, they're always dirty. They're always making crazy plays. You've got to be the communicator on the field since you see everything. How have you settled into that role?
It's been really tough. I mean, like before high school, the only catching that I've done was in like a rec league, maybe like this summer going into freshman or sophomore year. And then like being thrown into catcher, it's really hard, and it's a really big mental game too. Like we get yelled at a lot for our pitchers' mistakes, our infielders' mistakes, so we get the back burner of the things. And then like you said, you got to be the big communicator, so you also have to like watch everybody, keep encouraging your teammates, and like you're kind of like almost the backbone of like the defense.
I was just talking with Coach Brandt from Hawken Baseball about catchers, and a catcher can make one simple play that you look at and, it just blocked a ball, but it could have prevented a run or 2 runs or 3 runs. And so there's a lot riding on that catcher making a play. If a second baseman bobbles a ball, well, no big deal. You can still throw him out. If a catcher bobbles a ball and it gets away, runners are advancing, scoring. How do you handle that pressure?
Honestly, it's about like building confidence. Like you just have to go behind the plate and say like, I can do this. Like I'm gonna stop that ball. I'm gonna hold on to it. Like you just gotta squeeze. Like coach is always telling me like squeeze this third pitch. Like you gotta squeeze it. And like Coach Amy encouraging me from the side is like it helps a lot.
For you, since you're a catcher, I'm going to let you talk about the pitchers, and then we'll come back to Coach for the outfield, since I thought we were going to have an outfielder to do that. But go ahead and just talk about your pitchers.
So So we have two sophomores, Leslie Sullivan and Larissa Sullivan. They're twins. They're young.
Did I realize they were twins? I probably saw them both pitch last year and thought it was the same. Do they? Oh, okay, so I didn't see her pitch. So it was Leslie I saw then. Okay, gotcha.
And so Leslie is our starting pitcher this year. She's going to see a lot of innings. Her arm's definitely going to be very sore this year. And we're just like building more confidence within them and like working with both of them as their catcher. I'm really trying to keep their head in the game and like we're really working on that full count pitch. We're really battling with that right now. And I have high hopes for them. They're definitely going to be great this year.
For you individually and team-wise, what kind of goals do you have?
I think individually my goal is to leave an impact on the team and on the girls that we have and to like help bring them up and help them learn the leadership roles that they're going to have to take on next year. As we're a heavy senior team, the underclassmen are going to have to step up next year. And for team goals, we're just looking to have fun and compete this year. We have a tough schedule, and I think that if we go in headstrong and work together, I think we can have some fun.
All right. Lily, I'm going to throw it back to you. Same question. Just what are your individual and team goals for the spring?
My individual goal is I'm ready to hit. I've had a track record of not being the strongest hitter on the team, but at the end of the season last year, I started putting the bat on the ball, and I'm hoping to carry that on into this season. And then for a team goal, I'm excited to work with the underclassmen. I know Kelly Kashbeck, who's also playing second base right now. I know she's coming up as a first baseman. I'm excited to, coach and mentor her into the first baseman that she's going to become, along with the other girls, and just showing what stability and confidence can do for a team.
I'm glad you mentioned mentoring a younger player at your position, because one of the most important things to me is legacy and just kind of like leaving things better than you found it. So here you are telling me you're kind of concerned with making sure the younger girl that's going to fill your position next year knows what to do. How important is that to you, just to know that, you left things better than you found it?
I think it's really important. When I came in, there wasn't a first baseman. The year before, their catcher was the first baseman, or another girl was a first baseman. There wasn't really a set person. So I'm excited to be this first baseman of the Lutheran West softball team and mentor Kelly and show her and give her guidance, the guidance that I never really got, that will help her, and maybe in the future years she can mentor someone else into being the new first baseman.
Outstanding. Michaela, back to you.
I think
she didn't even let me ask a question.
Sorry.
I like it. No, you go ahead.
I thought you were the same question. My bad.
Speak,
My
girl.
bad.
I like it.
Okay. Same question as them.
Sure.
Okay. So we've seen over the 4 years this program at the lowest when it was a group of girls thrown together basically, and we've seen it at a whole unit working together. And I think this year I'm excited to see what our work has put in for us and what the result is going to be. Because last year was tough. It was a hard season, and it was hard teams. This conference is not a joke. When it comes to baseball and softball, that's the strong suit of this conference. And going from what we were at to now, I'm excited to see how our work from last year is put in and show us what we have and show the rest of the conference to take us seriously.
Good stuff. All right, Coach, back to you to talk about the outfield. We don't want to leave them out. We've talked pitchers, we've talked infield. Give us your outfield breakdown.
So outfield will be centered by Karina in center field, and then Kristen will play some center field for us as well. We have Giselle Cedeno, who is a junior, first-year varsity player, who is stepped up in this preseason into that starting role. So I'm really excited. Her work ethic is amazing. And then right field is still sort of up in the air. We've had a scrimmage and we played a couple of people there. We're still kind of working on it. I have a lot of seniors that I can put there. But it's not a solid position quite yet.
All right. And then just last question for you, define success. What's it going to take for you to be happy as a coach?
I think if we can compete in every game we play, we may not win. We probably won't win every game we play. We have a tough schedule. But if we can compete in every game and let that other team know that they played us, don't be a walk in the park. I don't want to lose by 20. If we can keep those bad innings to 1 or 2 runs instead of 6 or 10 runs, that will be a success for us.
That's a lot easier said than done. Yeah,
Agreed.
you know, those one innings that just blow up, like Kirtland, like had some games last year, and I saw you guys play against Kirtland, and you guys had a similar game where you guys had a bad inning, then they had a bad inning.
Yep.
Well, Kirtland had a couple games where they were beating really good teams, and then they had that bad inning, and it's hard. But, you know, when you have a lot of younger players, now they learn, and so you hope that, you know, like your squad coming back, you have a lot of the seniors now, and hopefully they learn from that and know that, hey, okay, it's okay to make one mistake, but let's not let that turn into 2 and 3 mistakes.
And that's what we've been.
And I see them all like
we've
looking,
been
oh,
talking
coach said
about
that.
like, almost every day. And then after our scrimmage, we kind of talked about this one thing. It's so little, but this is what happened after that one thing. So that's kind of what we're working on.
Yeah, you just have to regain that focus real quick after a mistake, shake it off.
Short-term memory.
Exactly, exactly. So, all right, well, that is the Lutheran West Longhorn softball team out here at the 2022 CVC Spring Sports Media Day West version. Appreciate you guys making the trip. Look forward to seeing you this spring. Good luck. All right, next up is the West Geauga baseball team. The Wolverines making a trip out from Geauga County. Same trip I made out in the snow today. Not exactly the weather you want to see when you're kicking off the spring sports season, but that's life in Northeast Ohio. So we've got the Wolverines taking their position here at the hot seat. Once again, the CVC Spring Sports Media Day is presented on CVC TV, sponsored by Ohio's Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. Wolverines take their seats here, and we'll start out with Coach. I believe another new coach to the CVC. Yep, and there's a little black switch on there. If you flip that up, you'll be ready to talk. But just, Coach, go ahead, introduce yourself, introduce the guys that you brought with you, and then just give us your elevator pitch. What can we expect out of the Wolverines this year?
Okay, my name is Derek Buell. This is my first year head coach at West Geauga High School. The athletes I brought me today is Danny Stewart. He's senior center fielder. Then we have Ty Bowes is our senior second baseman. And then we have Ryan Garvey as senior left fielder and pitcher.
All right, and what can we expect out of you this season? Your first year as a head coach, and then just new season, new team.
Yes, I don't know how. Can't really answer that question. You know, everything's new. It's new for these guys with me. So, you know, I'm not really too sure yet. We were hoping to get started this weekend, and you know, unfortunately, the weather was not happy with us, so we didn't get to start. We were supposed to start with Austintown Finch, and I felt like it was going to be kind of a good test to see what I was going to be working with. And unfortunately, we'll be back in the gym for probably another week, and just
looks like it.
Keep working.
All right, Danny, we'll start with you, outfielder. Talk about the transition first. It's always tough to go through a coaching change. You have to kind of learn different ways of doing things, running different drills, that type of thing. How's that process gone?
Yeah, I mean, this year's definitely been different having a new coach, but it's definitely for the better. I mean, the culture for West Geauga baseball has totally changed, I think. I mean, we haven't had an off season like this in the 4 years that I've been at the high school. So I think that things are definitely turning around for the positive.
What are some of the changes that Coach implemented?
Just a little more discipline. Like West Geauga baseball, I think the past couple years has been taken very lightly, and so now Coach Buell is definitely showing us that it's more than what it was, and what happened in the past isn't gonna work. And that's what all these seniors believe, and that's what the whole team's kind of turning to now is we need to really step up and work hard.
What's been the biggest difference as far as, you know, last year you graduated some guys, you bring some guys back, everybody's got to fill in different roles, some guys are returning starters, but how's that all coming together, and do you see positive changes?
Yeah, last year we definitely had a lot of seniors. I think we graduated like close to 12 seniors. This year we only have 7, so a lot of our starting lineup is going to be younger guys, some sophomores, a lot of juniors. So I think the big difference between last year's instead of upperclassmen having to step up, it's going to be the underclassmen having to step up because they're going to be the answer for this program in the next coming years.
You're an outfielder. I'm going to let you kind of introduce the rest of the outfield. Who's joining you out there in the grass?
He's going to play left field, Ryan Garvey, and then in right field we'll have Ricky Platt, another senior. We have a full senior outfield.
And then how's that group coming together? It's playing in baseball. You've got to have guys that not only can cover the gaps, but make the routine plays, make throws to the plate. How strong is that group?
We're definitely a fast outfield, and we all have experience at the varsity level from last year. So I think everything that we learned from last year is definitely going to come together and gel this year.
All right, we'll slide down to Ty. Ty, I think I'm going to have to get a restraining order on you. You seem to show up everywhere I am, so good to see you again.
You too.
All right, Ty coming in after an outstanding wrestling season. Ty, you coming out, new coach, new season. How exciting is it?
Very exciting. Coach has taught me a lot already, just off the bat. He's really going to bring a lot to this program, and we're just ready and excited.
Talk about your infield since Ryan did
infield. I think I am the only returning varsity player in the infield right now, but that's all right. These guys, they know that they have to step up this year and be ready to come on the diamond, to either make a ground ball, a diving play, or a good throw. So we're ready to back up our pitcher. So.
You kind of touched on some of the comments that we've had throughout the day today is you may not make a play, but if you can knock the ball down, you might keep a runner from advancing another base or scoring a run.
Yes, sir.
So how key is it to as a senior leader for you to get younger players understand that, hey, you may not make the play, but you need to at least stop the ball and keep runners from advancing?
Knowing that just getting out of your head in the infield and, just knocking down the ball. As long as you knock down the ball and collect yourself, you can still get the play, still make the play. So helping those guys really understand that just, live by the moment, don't let too much stuff get in your head while you're in the field because let all the stuff get in your head, then, if you miss the ground ball, then, your game is completely off instead of, hey, all right, you knock down the ball, I can collect myself and still get the out. So,
throw out some names. Who do we have at third base, shortstop, first base, catcher? Undecided?
Undecided.
Undecided.
Right Undecided.
All right, we'll come back to you, Ty. Let's go down there to Ryan. Ryan, I'm going to let you talk about the pitchers since you're one of the pitchers. We talked infield, outfield already. Who do we have on the hill for the West Geauga Wolverines?
So we got a lot of younger guys this year. We started, with the newer coach, we started pulling up a lot of younger guys. And I feel like our pitchers have, a lot of control on the mound. And most of them, can, play a situation right.
One of the hardest challenges you guys are going to face this year, with a bunch of younger guys, is you're playing against the Hawkens and the Chagrin Falls and Orange. You're not going to have a break. There aren't going to be many games where you get to say, okay, we're the favorite now. You're always going to be going out as the underdog and playing these well-established teams. I think Hawken brings back almost their entire team. Same with Chagrin Falls, and they've got some new faces too. But they've just got this program that just they reload every year. So how much of a challenge is that for you guys as you're breaking in a bunch of new varsity starters to go in and compete against these quality opponents?
It's definitely a big challenge, but it's something you can use to your advantage. We're seen as a lower grade team, but we don't think we're like that. So
that's what I like to hear is that you want to play those teams.
Yeah.
It's a good test for you, establish where you're at, but you always want to compete against the best. So what kind of goals do you have for yourself this year and then also for your team?
That's a tough question. We got to see the younger guys play it out. A lot of them have a lot of talent, so I think we got a lot to work with and might end up pretty good.
How important is it to you just as a veteran player to come out and reestablish the program and put a competitive product out there each day?
I really like what Buell's doing with the team and the culture he's implementing. There's not a lot of messing around. You got to take your baseball seriously, still have fun, but you got to get your stuff done.
All right. Ty, we'll go back to you. What are your goals for the season individually and for the team?
For the team, I just just have to have that mindset, you know, that yeah, we're underdogs, but hey, we got to go out there and play, and no matter who it is, no matter who steps across from us, we still got to go out there and play, no matter how big they are, how many players they have, or how many good kids they have, we still got to go out there strong. And then for myself, hopefully this year I can break the steal record this year. Last year I was very close.
Single season or career?
Career.
How many do you have?
I have 40 right now.
And what's the record?
Not sure. You know, not sure. Honestly, I'm really not sure. I know I always ask, but nobody has
just
got
gonna
back to
run.
me. Yeah.
When coach tells you broke it, you'll be happy.
Yeah, I'll
All
be
right.
happy.
Good.
And to lead Division II in steals as well, and you know, to also to lead Division II and you know other things besides you know using my feet. You know, so that should be good, and you know I'm just excited to play.
All right, Danny, same question. What kind of goals do you have for yourself and for your team?
The past couple years, as long as I can remember, we've struggled with the same teams in the CVC. So this year, one of my huge goals for the team is, I mean, let's go out and shock some of these teams. Like, we have a new coach, kind of a new mentality as a baseball program. So why not just go out and shock a few of these CVC teams and some of these teams we play non-conference? And I think we really could do that, and I think we could have a fun time doing it.
Yeah, I mentioned it's not a forgiving conference. When you're down, you take your lumps, but it's a lot of fun when you come back up and give a little bit back. So hopefully you guys can establish that this year.
Right.
All right, and Coach, back to you. You know, how satisfied are you with the way your guys are representing your program? They saying the right things?
Yeah, you know, the things they're saying, it's making me feel good. You know, they might be saying it because they're on camera, but, you know, these are the three that are, you know, kind of making this transition, you know, kind of easy. I rely on them heavily, and they've taken full reins with it and ran with it. So it is making things, you know, pretty easy, which if I didn't have these three, you know, it would probably definitely be a little bit more of a struggle than it has been so far to this point.
I'm sure some of the goals that have been discussed are, hey, let's compete for a conference title, let's you know, win a district title, those types of things. But as a first-year coach with an up-and-coming program, how are you going to define success this season?
Well, like, you know, anyone that's coached in sports our first goal is obviously win conference, and then you know after conference, whether win it, lose it, then we go on to the postseason and see. Hopefully, we can make a run. They've hit it on a little bit. Some of you know this conference because I came over from Kenston, so the conference we came from a little bit different than what we're going to be playing in now, and I scheduled the out-of-conference games that we had. I kind of wanted to do a little bit of gauntlet. I wanted to see what we were going to have. So, you know, we had Kenston on our schedule twice. We got Aurora on our schedule. We were supposed to have Austintown on our schedule, you know, Kent Roosevelt. So I scheduled some big dogs because I wanted to see what we had, and I let them know, you know, it doesn't really matter what the outcome is of those games because those are what's going to prepare us for not just conference, but then when we get into the postseason.
Absolutely, I like that strategy. Show them you gotta see what you want to be, and
yes.
So if you're playing a bunch of bad teams, that's what you're seeing. You don't want to be that. So
yeah, and then especially we do have you know a lot of young kids, you know, mixed in with some of the older kids, but you know there is a lot of young kids, and I expressed it to my seniors before. You know, it's not ideal for them in this situation because this is their senior year, and now they have to deal with a new coach. But their mindset has been unbelievable, and it's been a blessing. So I honestly think there's going to be very good things to come for this program.
Outstanding. Well, I appreciate you guys making the trip out here. The roads weren't real good when I left this morning. How were they when you guys came out? Any better? Yeah, fun. So it'll be a fun ride. It absolutely is. Yeah, I've got teams that are down in Myrtle Beach that I got to write some stories yesterday. It's like, now I'm going to have a week off again. But, yep. All right, I appreciate you guys making the trip out, and best of luck to you this season.
Thank you very much.
That was the West Geauga Wolverines baseball team here out at 2022 CVC Spring Sports Media Day. Up next, we've got the Brooklyn Hurricanes baseball team. Winding down here, we've got Brooklyn Baseball up next, Lutheran West Track and Field, followed by Crestwood Softball, and then Orange Tennis will wrap things up for us here at Independence High School. All right. right, Coach, glad you guys could make it. You got a microphone in front of you. It's got a black switch on it. Just make sure that is up when you're ready to speak. And go ahead, introduce yourself and the player you brought with you, and then give me your elevator pitch. What can we expect out of the Hurricanes this year?
Okay, well, my name is Kevin Sedlacek. This is my 9th year as head coach here at Brooklyn High School. I brought with me senior Alex Hernandez. He's going to play first base for us. What do I expect out of this year? Obviously, much improvement from last year. Last year was kind of a rebuilding year for us. In between year, we lost the year before to COVID, and I think that kind of hurt us in building our team, and we saw the effects last year with a lot of first-year seniors. So, again, playing last year and a lot of young guys last year, I think we did a lot of learning, a lot of building, and I'm really looking forward to making our improvements for this year. And, you know, I think if we can play up to our potential, I think we can make a lot of noise in this conference this year and have a lot of fun.
I think you kind of made an interesting point there, just the seniors that normally would be counted on to be your veteran player. A lot of them losing that year just aren't where they should have been. And, you know, last year you saw a little bit of it, but like I think you nailed it as this year is where, you know, those kids were sophomores. They would have had that year of experience, and they're missing it. And I think it's showing up this year and probably next year as well.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have a lot of youth programs in Brooklyn, being the small town that we are. So again, we need our teams to play every year to develop our players, and we missed that whole year of development, and you know, it had its effects. So
right,
we're looking a lot better this year, and like I said, I'm just looking forward to getting started.
All right, Alex, you know, coming in, senior, right?
Yes.
Senior year, Coach, as Coach mentioned, you lost a year. So how exciting is it? You're back. You're going to that final year of baseball, and I'm sure there's some bittersweet feelings as well, knowing that this is it. But how exciting is it to embark on this final year?
I'd say it's very exciting. Anytime I get to play sports is always an exciting time for me. I just can't wait to start this year. You know, my last year before going out before I graduate. Hopefully we can leave our stamp tremendously in the CVC this year, so I can't wait to get started.
You mentioned the CVC. This is the second year for Brooklyn playing in the league. Last year was your first taste of competition. Should have been 2020, but we didn't have the season. How different was it for you guys as players, just going out and playing a bunch of new teams?
You know, I don't think there's really much of a difference. I kind of see every game as a winnable situation. It's just what we do that day in preparation in terms of how we come out in warm-ups is how we can do in that game. So I'm always confident in my team and my guys that we can always win.
You're the first baseman. Talk about the rest of the infield. What do you guys have coming back? Who are the new faces?
So we got a lot of new people coming back, but we also got a young core. You know, Aiden Starr is going to be our third baseman. We got Anthony Starr and James Trunkett to flip between shortstop. And we also got a mix between Nate Wilson and Adam Gabala at second. I feel like with our chemistry and building between years that we also can be a big stamp factor, part of this team. And we can get a lot of outs when we need to do so. So I'm excited to get ready to start and just ready to play.
Just taking a look at you, you're probably the third or fourth batter in the lineup.
Yeah, power hitter.
I don't imagine you're stealing bases. You're out there.
I can do it all, though.
Okay.
Don't judge me.
All right. I like it. What when you look at you know, what you're bringing to the table this year, just individually, what are you hoping to accomplish?
You know, I'm just willing to hopefully get better at first base. That's my biggest thing. You know, what can I do to put myself in a situation where I can give my team advantages to win? And that's, you know, I took a little bit of the off season just to get better on my bag movement, my hitting, and, you know, I'm hoping to make a stride for it this year and get our guys on the right pace.
Being a senior, you've got to provide, you know, leadership to the younger guys. How have you embraced that role?
I kind of embrace it a lot. I love the leadership role. I love people following. So during practices, I'm always the guy to get us going and always get us on track of what we're supposed to be doing. And if not, you know, I think that's just a thing that we got to look upon as like a team thing. So even when I'm not leading, the team always got the back.
What's the pitching staff look like?
Pitching staff looks great. I can't wait for you guys to see it during games. I'm not going to spoil it too much because I want it to be a surprise, but I can't wait for this year, man.
All right, and then how about the outfield?
Outfield's looking great too. You know, I feel like this team can do a lot, like Coach was saying. If we all play to our potential, I feel like we can make a big splash in this year's CVC.
You talked about your ability to hit the gaps and collect some extra base hits. Who are the other guys that you know that are going to come up and show up every day and be consistent with the bat in their hands?
I feel like Jeremiah Gonzalez is going to be one to watch. You know, he's very good at contact driving, you know, getting the ball in play whenever we need it, big times.
Another name to watch is Anthony Starr, and I feel like the rest of the lineup, you just got to keep your eye on it.
Looking at you being a senior, again, last year, what kind of goals do you have for yourself and for your team?
My goal is just to win, simple as that. I want to go into this place and leave my stamp on the school when I graduate, but the best way to do it is win some games and get a banner up at our school, so let's do it that way.
Absolutely. All right, and Coach, back to you. Just he mentioned some of the players that are gonna shine. Who have been the guys that have stuck out to you so far in the preseason?
Obviously, again, I don't know if you heard the story of Anthony Starr. He was a freshman during the first COVID season, lost that season due to COVID, and then came back as a sophomore. But he had a knee injury in football, and he missed his whole sophomore season. He only had 4 games in the CVC his sophomore year. But batted like 300 in those 4 games. I'm really excited to see what Anthony could do with the bat. He's been playing, he had like 40 or some games all last summer. And he's strong, he's healthy, and we're looking forward to good things from Anthony. He has a younger brother, Aiden, who's a freshman. Again, I think he needs to grow a little confidence, but I think when Aiden starts growing that confidence, and it should happen this year, he's going to be a nice addition to our team. And like Alex said, we have a lot of returners. And what's going to help him out is some of these younger guys last year, these sophomores, are now juniors this year, and they'll be able to make the throws, so it's going to help him out at first base. He had a tough time trying to dig it out, and again, Alex made a lot of improvements over that 1 year, too, trying to dig balls out of the dirt, and he's gotten much better at it. And again, as a defensive player and as a swing has improved tremendously. Very coachable young man here. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Alex continue to take his leadership role, because like he said, and I agree with him 100%, he has taken that leadership role, and the team listens, and he's making us a better ball team.
I imagine they listen to him without too much trouble.
Yeah, he just gives them the look.
Yeah, that's what I do with my kids.
I give them the look.
Right.
Yeah, I give them the look. It doesn't do much, but when he gives them the look, they kind of fall into place.
Right. Going back to the CVC, last year, your first taste of CVC competition, how different was it for the team? I mean, just seeing different teams, it's a quality league, so you guys, I don't know where you came from, too many teams out that way.
Yeah, we were the Patriot Conference before, but we played a lot of these teams in independent games. So we've played all these teams before. We've played the Wycliffes, we played the Independences and the Cuyahoga Heights. So we were pretty familiar with who they are, but now we get to play them twice.
Twice, yeah.
And obviously the games mean a whole lot more now that you're in conference.
Right.
So we're familiar with them. We're familiar with their locations and their fields. And like I said, I'm excited. It's a good conference. I love playing. For us, our division is really close, so that saves lots of travel.
Right.
We were in the Patriot Conference, and we were making a lot of the 45-minute trips out
brutal.
west. So it's nice staying in our own neighborhood and making the quick half-hour trips.
Absolutely.
So that helps.
All right, last one for you is what are your team strengths? What are your team weaknesses? How do you maximize the strengths and minimize the weaknesses?
Our team strengths this year will be pitching, surprisingly, because we have a couple of nice pitchers. Right-hander Anthony Starr, he throws really hard, and he's consistently in the strike zone. And for us, it's not about throwing hard. We try to teach our pitchers about placement of the pitches and then mixing the pitches up. A lot of off-speed pitches. We like a lot of the change-ups, keep batters off balance. So Aiden does a nice job with that. Again, we have the John Pearson, another senior, who, again, last year got injured, and he lost a lot of games because of his injury, and he really was inconsistent last year. Hopefully he's back and can be more consistent for us, because he's a nice, strong throwing left-hander. And then, the other guys, James Trunkett is going to be pitching for us too. He throws a lot of just off speed, little curveballs here, off change-ups there, and then putting these pitches in the right locations. And if we can do that, I think that's going to be our strength this year to get the outs. My concern, obviously, would be offense. Even though looking at this lineup that I have in front of me, I feel confident with them, because they've shown a lot of good swings in practice. But again, you never know until you see them on the field. So I think we should be all right. But looking at the stats from last year, it's still a concern. And again,
Right.
I think I just want to be out there and get ready to prove what we can do. And I'm just excited to see what we can do. And I think it's going to be a lot more exciting this year.
All right, Coach. Well, I appreciate it. Alex, best of luck to you as a senior this year. Hope you guys can find some success. Appreciate you making the trip out, and good luck to you this year.
All right, thank you very much.
You have a good time.
That was the Brooklyn Hurricanes baseball team here at the 2022 CVC Spring Sports Media Day, live from Independence High School. Next up is the Lutheran West track and field team. Give them a moment to step in. You are next. Yeah. I don't even have any track gear. I was thinking, gosh, I was going to stick my shoe on the table, but I didn't think anyone would want my shoe up there. So, Coach, go ahead. There's a black switch on that microphone. If you just flip that up and go ahead, introduce yourself, the two girls that you brought with you, and then give us your elevator pitch. What can we expect out of the Longhorns this spring?
Good afternoon. I'm Anjanette Arabian Whitman. I am the head coach at Lutheran West for track and cross country. And I'm very privileged to be here today with two outstanding athletes from our program. I have Evelyn Albers here. She's a senior, and she's one of our jumpers, specifically the high jump. And she's actually multi-talented and does other things as well.
I'm familiar.
Yes, it's very exciting. And then also we have Morgan Jenkins, and she is one of our exceptional throwers, just coming off of a great indoor season. Both of them are. And so we're really looking forward to the season. We were going to have Manny Diaz join us today. However, he's on a college visit, so he is definitely excused.
Yes, that's an approved absence.
Definitely.
We'll allow for that. What looking at what you've seen, what you've got coming back, and what you've seen in the preseason, how excited are you for this new campaign?
We're really excited. This year is going to be pretty neat because we have a nice core group of athletes returning from last year, but even more so, we have new faces. So we have a lot of questions that are going to be answered in the first few weeks of the season, and we're pretty excited about it because the practices have been going well. The kids have been taking well to the training. We have a new coach on staff, Coach Slade. He's one of our football assistant coaches who's going to be joining us now as an indoor and outdoor sprint coach. And so things are coming together quite well.
That's great when you can get a football coach to come and join the track team, because then he can recruit some of those football players to run track, and it's so beneficial. And as a track coach, you probably feel the same way as when football players are like, I'm just going to take the spring off to lift weights. And it's like, well, no, you could really help yourself as a football player by running track. And
we love our multi-sport athletes because
Absolutely.
Anytime they have the opportunity to put a Lutheran West jersey on and represent their school, it's a great opportunity, not just for them as an individual, but for their team and for their school overall.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to start over there with Morgan. Evelyn, I think we've talked like 30 times now, right? All these media days that you've been at. So, Morgan, you're a thrower, shot and disc, I assume?
Yeah, I throw shot, disc, and hammer and weight.
Oh, see, I'm not familiar with the hammer throw and all that. That's the indoor stuff, right? We don't do that in the spring often?
Hammer is outdoor, and weight is like the indoor version of hammer.
Interesting. I've watched some college meets, and I see those, but I don't see that often at the high school level. So that's fun. But going into this new year, what are you looking for?
So my thing is hammer and weight. So my main goal this year is to break the school record for the hammer throw, and to hopefully qualify for nationals like I did in the indoor season in the hammer throw. And I'm also had some really good shot throws these last few practices, so I'm super excited to be able to showcase that at our meet this week. And same thing with discus. I've really come a long way over these 4 years, so I'm super excited.
With the hammer throw, what kind of distance are we talking about? I'm familiar with shot put and discus throws, so when you give me your numbers there, I know, but the hammer, you could tell me 10 feet, and I'm like, oh, that's really good. But I don't know.
So my PR from last year is 118 feet and 9 inches.
Oh, my gosh. It's way farther than I thought.
This year I'm looking for about 130, 135.
Wow. What is the state record, or how far is that?
The school record is around 130-ish, and then to qualify for nationals, I would need 137.
So you're in that range.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then shot and disc, what kind of numbers did you put up?
I've had a couple throws over 30 in practice, and my PR is 27-1, I think. And I had some really good throws in indoor season, so I'm excited for outdoor.
So you talked a little bit about your goals, what you're trying to accomplish. What's it going to take to get there, though? What kind of work do you have to do?
Lots and lots and lots of drills and a lot of work in the weight room and mainly like taking those full throws in practice and getting a lot of reps in.
What did you do last year as far as postseason? Did you get to regionals?
For outdoor, no.
Indoor?
Yes,
okay.
I was a state qualifier for indoor.
Outstanding. All right, and so then this year I have to imagine the goal is to get to regionals and hopefully one step beyond?
Hopefully.
Good. And as a senior, you're coming in. I've got to imagine you have some younger throwers as well. How have you embraced that role as a leader to kind of develop?
I love it. We have a bunch of freshmen this year, and one of them, well, a sophomore, is actually my little sister. So I'm super excited to have all of them. We've grown really close, especially through the indoor season. So it's a lot of fun watching them like develop and like learn all these new things, and then also be able to lead them and help them in the same way.
Right. And you know what I've noticed covering track is like the sprinters and the hurdlers, they don't talk to their opponents quite as much, but the throwers seem to all be like good pals, you know. It's like you're all sitting around there watching everyone throw, and you're having a good conversation, laughing with each other, and you don't see that like with, you know, wrestlers and baseball players. They don't communicate with their opponents quite as much. Why is that?
We love it. So I don't know. Maybe it's just like the downtime in between throws, but it's always kind of been like I've made really good friends, like sitting like in the waiting to throw and just talking to people, and it's a lot more social than I expected going in. And then like now it's just fun to like introduce yourself and talk about what your future plans are and whatever else there is to talk about.
Outstanding. I like that. I always love it. And like gymnastics and some of these other sports where like tennis, they're so nice to each other, and it's like they cheer for each other, and you don't really see that in like where you're competing against somebody. I mean, you're competing against someone with throws, but it's not like you're trying to wrestle them on a mat. You're throwing a shot and then you cheer for them. It's really cool to see. I like that. I like that sportsmanship side of it. But cross country's real similar, where kids are cheering for each other. And you know, I played football and baseball and wrestled, and it was like, no, you don't want to cheer for your opponent. But then you see this, and it's like, well, I guess I was the mean one growing up. It's like, it's so good to see. I enjoy it. But who are some of the other throwers that you've been impressed by? Who's gonna shock some people this year?
So I think Marin Roshkowski has a lot of promise. She showed a lot of promise in the indoor season and has really improved very quickly. I also think, no bias here, but my little sister is showing a lot of progress. She's super, super strong. So like with the shot put, like she's able to really get that out there. And I was kind of surprised to see that. On the guy side of things, Gabe Watkins, he's showing a lot of promise. He had a really good indoor season, so I'm excited to see what he'll do in the shot and disc in the outdoor. Same thing with Nick Roshkowski. He's really improved in shot and disc both, and I'm really excited to see where he'll go this year.
All right. Evelyn, I'm going to slide over to you. And before we talk track, did I see a tweet or something a week ago, 2 weeks ago? Did you commit somewhere?
Yeah, I committed to the University of Dayton for track and field.
Oh, okay, so it is track. That's what I thought. Okay, so good. Yeah, so let's talk about that first.
Okay,
that's got to be exciting.
Oh, it's super exciting. You know, this past year I've been talking to a bunch of different coaches, and it's just really nice to finally be committed somewhere and just know like what my next 4 years are going to look like.
And what led you to Dayton?
Well, the academics are very good, so that was very important to me, and their coach he just made it very friendly, and I just felt really at home when I went there.
Did you have an opportunity to look at schools for other sports?
Oh, yeah, I had both soccer and basketball, but after weighing my options, I just felt track and field was my best opportunity.
And what do they want you to compete in at Dayton?
Mainly just the high jump, so I'm going to go in, but potentially it could be a Maltese. We'll see where that goes.
Okay. And now let's talk about senior year.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you got the college thing out of the way. That's got to be a big relief. But
very.
How exciting is it to just kind of enter this senior year and you know, just be able to go and focus on you know, clearing that bar?
It's very exciting, you know, the relief. You feel like it's off a little bit, but I also feel like I have a little bit of pressure and just expectations to match a little bit. But, you know, I'm working hard in practice every day, looking at little techniques I can improve, just taking it day by day, meet by meet, and controlling what I really can control each time I go and jump in. We'll just see where that leads.
What did you learn last year, and not the year before, obviously that was the COVID year, but freshman year, that's going to help you this senior year just to better prepare for meets and raise that bar a little bit?
Absolutely, yeah. So freshman year was my first year doing it, so it was kind of a surprise, like, oh, I can kind of do this. Last year was kind of an eye-opening experience. My athleticism can only take me so far, so that's where like my technique and just working every day comes into play. And so this year, taking it and really focusing on the little things, and I think that will take me much further than I was last year.
What are you hoping to accomplish this year?
State's my major goal. Like last year I fell short a little bit, which was really hard for me, but this year it's just going to motivate me to work even harder, to place in conference, obviously, high in districts and regionals, and then be on the podium at state.
Who are some of the field athletes that have been impressive so far in the preseason? She talked about the throws. You can talk about the field.
So high jump, there's not many other girls. There's a few that are trying it out this year, but we have some very talented boy high jumpers, Brandon Southgate and Tony Medina, who are showing very promising, and I'm really excited to see what they can do this year in high jump.
All right, sounds good. Coach, I'm going to throw it back to you, and you can fill in the blanks. We talked about some throws, talked about some field athletes. Obviously, we need to talk about sprinters, middle distance, and anyone else that's been impressing you. Where's the strength of your team coming from this year?
Absolutely. We definitely have numbers in the sprints, so the relays are going to look pretty good this year. Really excited for those relay kids. They've been coming together really well. I think bringing their talents together so that we can see some great success as a group will really be a catalyst, not only for this year, but then going into future years. On our distance side, we have a couple of boys coming back from last year that will be definitely impact player or runners in our field. As far as we have Elijah Van Vero, he'll be coming back as a senior. And then we also have Luke Donahue, who's now a sophomore, but really did a wonderful job as a freshman last year. So those two are definitely going to step up and lead the way in our distance group.
When you look at what you've got coming back and some of the newer faces that you talked about, obviously every track coach, we want to get kids to regionals. We want to get kids to state. And, is there a number? Is there a benchmark that you're looking for? What's going to define a successful season for you?
That will be defined in the first few weeks of our season, quite frankly, just because we have so many new faces. I've seen in practice some promise, and I think where our strength is going to be in our relays and then our field events. That's where we're going to really shine. And we're going to bring that together. We're hosting 5 home meets on the weekdays, and that's going to be a wonderful telltale sign of where they can bring it together so they have a better idea, especially none that have ever competed in a track meet before. So that's going to be great. And then the invitationals that we're going to, we have our home invitational at the end of April. It's the Joseph King Longhorn Invitational, which is a nice showcase meet for us, and that really will get us in a good place to go into the conference and then district and then beyond. So, but look for us in the relays and the field events, and that's where we're going to have some nice shining moments.
And last question for you is, obviously last year was your first in the CVC. How different was it? Just the level of talent and competition that you saw compared to your previous conference?
It was a very appropriate switch for us, and we just went out there and did what we needed to do. We can control what we can, and then we just know that if there's anybody in front of us, we need to go get them.
Outstanding.
Yeah. I do want to say one other thing.
Sure.
Morgan here is also committed.
Oh.
So I'll let her talk about that.
All right.
Because she's very excited about her commit to her next 4 years.
Outstanding. Morgan, back to you.
So it was a very long process to be able to decide, and a lot of long conversations with a lot of different coaches. But I'm super happy and excited that I committed to Concordia University Ann Arbor out in Michigan for mainly hammer and weight, but I'll also probably throw a little bit of shot and disc in there. I loved the coaches there, and it was just a really at-home experience when I visited. So I'm super excited.
That is exciting. And a lot of people in Ohio, you hear Ann Arbor and immediately it's like, oh, but Ann Arbor's a great city, and I'm sure you've been there and visited, but it's great.
Yeah,
but,
it's a beautiful city.
Yeah, so that's exciting. So, Coach, you have two athletes that are going off to compete in college. So raising the bar a little bit for your program. How cool is that for younger athletes to say, oh, wow, I can do this too?
It's a wonderful opportunity because we had a signing and both of them signed on the same day, just the two of them. No other sports were represented at that time, and the whole room was full of not only their teammates from other sports, but then also, of course, the track team itself, plus family, friends. We have people come back that are alums that came to watch. So that, I mean, it shows what a wonderful family experience it is in the track and field world.
It
and
is.
yes, it absolutely is something I mentioned this to the whole group before we really got started with the signing, is all the younger ones of you out there, keep an eye on this, because they didn't start with major track and field experience until their freshman year, and look where they are now.
Yep.
So you never know where it might take you, and even if it doesn't take you to compete in college, just the things that people can if they commit to something, whatever it is, they can achieve things that are beyond their wildest dreams. So don't ever count yourself out.
That is
So it was a
great.
really nice inspiration. These two young ladies are very special.
Indeed, leaving a legacy. I like it. Congratulations to you both, and appreciate you all making the trip, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
That was the Lutheran West Longhorns here at the 2022 Chagrin Valley Conference Spring Sports Media Day, live from Independence High School. We are winding down our event today. We've got the Crestwood Softball team stepping up to the hot seat next. And following them will be Orange Tennis to close out the day. So right now we've got the Crestwood Red Devils, Coach Leroy Moore. Coach, appreciate you making the long trip out here. You guys drove about as far as I did. I'm out there in Chardon, so you guys probably had a lot of the same weather I enjoyed, trying to unbury my car from the driveway, hopefully for the last time. But Coach, go ahead and just introduce the ladies you brought with you, and then just give us your elevator pitch. What can we expect out of your team this year? You got to grab that microphone, and there's a black switch on it. Just flip that up.
All right. Well, I brought with me today Michaela Berquist, Olivia Galata, and Bella Hunter.
And then what can we expect out of the Red Devils? Another new campaign. I know you lose a couple outstanding players, your center fielder, your third baseman, maybe one or two more, but you got some great talent coming back.
Yeah, we lost probably two key players from last year, Macy Head and who was the other one?
Samantha?
Sam Toth, our center fielder. But we have a good influx of some freshmen this year that have some talent, so we're hoping for them to fill that void, and just looking forward to some of our senior players to share with them what kind of like our tendency is toward our game, sharing their softball IQ with them and bringing them along. So we may have a few bumps in the road early in the campaign, but we're looking to shore things up and finish the season real strong along those lines.
You lose the two, and for a small school to have two girls go to play in college from the same class, that's pretty rare. You get Macy down at Tiffin, just saw her in the green. It was kind of weird to see her in a green jersey for the first time, but pretty cool to see her at Tiffin. And then Sam is at Lakeland. So good
so
for her.
that's good. That speaks well of our program for those girls and being able to continue. And we're hoping that a couple of these girls here, too. I know Michaela will be continuing her career at the college level, and we're looking forward to some of the other ones doing that also.
All right. And last year, just a lot of fun watching you guys. I had heard so much about Macy Head, and the 2020 season got wiped out, so I didn't get to see you there. So I had to wait another year, but a lot of talent. Bella had a great freshman year, fun to watch. Michaela just has been tearing it up. I saw her 2 years ago when you guys played Perry, and just she mowed them down and shut down a really good Perry team. So not necessarily a introduction to the CVC last year. You already did that. You slammed the door on Perry. So everybody knew what to expect out of you guys, and you had a nice year. But what was it like just coming into the CVC for the first time and playing some new teams like that?
Well, again, it was a learning experience, not having any history on a lot of those teams, because coming from the PTC and then the PCL, most of our attention was to the schools to the south. Didn't play very many schools to the north. And so coming into there, I mean, it was an eye-opener to us. Some great competition in the CVC. We like that, going up against Independence and some cross-division. but with West G in our league and Wycliffe, we had some good competitive games against them, and we're looking forward to that again this year. And I think there's a few other teams that may step into that more competitive mode. I think Berkshire will be up with those top teams this year, and Kirtland could possibly be there also. So we may be in, I don't know if they would consider it one of the lesser divisions of the CVC, but I think within our division, in that Valley division, we have some pretty good competition there.
It's definitely not the lesser division.
Yeah.
It's one of the most competitive, a lot of quality teams there, and then the Metro the same. And then you have the Lake and the Chagrin. I think it goes that way. You know, obviously Perry has been the class of the Lake division. They've won it 7-8 straight years, 62 straight wins, and then you know, the Chagrin is kind of wide open with Chagrin and Orange and a couple of those teams. But I think the Valley is probably one of the better divisions of the four, and then the Metro with Cuyahoga Heights and Independence. So now you guys competed well last year. So, Michaela, I'm going to start with you. Are you a 3-year starter or a 4-year starter?
I'm a 4-year starter.
All right, and so obviously it all starts in the circle in softball, and having a 4-year starter, especially with one that's as good as you are, it's got to be, you know, solidifies everything for the team. So how cool is it for you to come in senior year, just 4th year, mowing teams down?
Yeah, it's awesome. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't know. I don't know how to answer these questions, but yeah, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of pressure because obviously it's my 4th year, so I also have to meet up to those expectations. So I'm just going to do my best and train as hard as I can to meet those expectations.
What has been the key to your success over the last 3 years?
I think I've done a lot of weight training for the past 4 years, and I think that's helped me an incredible amount. I've pitched a lot faster, a lot of spin too. Transferring into the CVC conference as well, it's like better competition, so it pushes me to do harder as well.
And I know you throw hard, and then you talked about the spin, and you know, I took a lot of pictures behind the backstop, so I can see the ball moving, and that's got to be tough for a hitter. But you know, what are your pitches? What are your go-tos? What do you like to lean on?
My go-to is a changeup and a curveball. I think those move the best for me, and those are normally my strikeout pitches. So, yeah.
And you're not just a dominating pitcher. You can hit the snot out of the ball too.
I like to say I can. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll agree. I'll confirm that for you. But is there an aspect of your game you like more than the other?
I definitely like to pitch more. I think that's where I dominate the most, and it's just I like to have control of the game. I like to have that leadership role, and I think that's my best opportunity to do so.
Catcher.
Olivia Galata, yeah.
And you were the returning starter, right? You can just nod for now. We'll talk about that and decide what you're going to ask her. So having a returning starter back at catcher, how much does that help you as a pitcher, just knowing that she knows what you want to throw, when to throw it, where to put the glove, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to have a great relationship with your catcher because I know I can trust her all the time. She's also a very blunt person, which I appreciate as a catcher. I don't like when somebody sugarcoats it. She will tell me if I'm doing bad, what I need to work on, and she tells me, like, oh, this is working today, so it helps me know what I need to be pitching more that day.
It's not going to be easy to replace a Macy Head type of player. You know, nobody's going to fill her shoes, but, you know, somebody has to step in, play third, and try and produce. How do you guys kind of work around that and not lose confidence that, oh, we lost one of our best hitters? How do you work around that?
We have a lot of, I think we have quite a few returning players. Like, we have Bella Hunter on that left side. I think she covers a lot of range, so that will also help pick up that left corner. We have a freshman coming in, Maddie Dustman. I think she does well. I think she's willing to try and fill those shoes, and I think with a lot of repetition and everything, I think she has the opportunity and capability to do so.
All right, and Coach mentioned something about playing in college. Have you committed already?
Yeah, I just committed to Morton College. It's in Cicero, Illinois. It's a JUCO school. I was offered a full ride, so I'm very excited to start that new chapter.
Very cool. And have you been out there to visit or just
I went to a school next to it, which was a coach that also he switched schools to this JUCO school. So, yeah, I met him. He's a great coach. He has the same dynamic as Coach Moore, so I really appreciated that, and I think it's just going to be an easy transition. I think it's going to be very fun.
Excellent. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Olivia, we'll slide over to you, returning starter at catcher. how cool is it for you just knowing that, hey, you don't have to break in a new pitcher. She's there. She knows what to do. You guys have this relationship already, this chemistry. How important is that?
I think that's really important. I really love having Mick her senior year and seeing her improve over the years that I've been catching for her. I also feel like me building a relationship with Bella is really important, and just having each other's backs during the whole entire game and knowing that one of us is going to step up for each other if someone's lacking. I really appreciate that in a teammate, and I feel like both do an equally amazing job at it.
Catcher has to be the coach on the field. You see everything. How do you communicate that with your teammates, and how do you handle that role as kind of an on-field leader?
Well, I think my biggest, what I say to myself before a game is to be loud and be proud the whole time. I use my voice every single pitch, every single play, and if we are having trouble on the team, I make sure to get the team together as a huddle. I'm not shy to call timeouts and talk to them and be blunt, as Mick said, and say, okay, we need to step up our game. So I feel like just being loud and being confident is a really big asset for me.
Obviously, the three of you are returning starters and that form that core of the team. Who else has kind of stepped up and impressed in the preseason?
I feel like we've seen Allie Clayman talk a lot more in the field. She has become a leader on the team. We also see Amy Barnauskas, our center fielder. She talks a lot. She's been open to playing infield even though outfield is her primary spot. We see a lot of upperclassmen taking charge and showing the underclassmen the way we do things in our program and showing each and every one of them that there's a moral responsibility within softball other than just playing and being there for one another.
Amy, outstanding. She had a great year last year as well. So, yeah, she's not here. I thought maybe she would have been here. She's another great player. So there's four that form this great core for Crestwood, kind of right up the middle, too. Pitcher, catcher, short, and center. So, and then you just got to kind of get everybody on the fringe to fall in line. What kind of goals do you have for the team this year?
My personal goal for the season is to maintain our CVC championship title. I feel like we'll be able to do this season as long as we play hard and continue to make adjustments each game.
All right. Bella, we'll go down to you following that outstanding freshman season. What was that like to just kind of step in and turn in such a productive season?
I would say I had a lot of fun doing it, obviously. It was definitely an adjustment coming from travel to like go and be a freshman, making varsity and having to adjust to like the different pitching and all the different things that are different with Crestwood, but it was definitely a lot of fun. Our team last year was a lot of fun to be around, a lot of fun to play with. I think this year we're going to carry that forward with Michaela and Olivia and the rest of our starting crew. We're going to do really good this year, I feel like.
So you had this great freshman year. How do you avoid that sophomore slump you hear about?
Well, I've been putting in a lot of work in the off season with weight training and practicing on my own. I feel like this year my biggest thing is to try to lengthen my at-bats a little bit and to attack an outside pitch. Last year I was very hesitant about that. I love inside pitches. It's my go-to. I love them. But this year I'm going to try to focus on hitting outside a little more just to get more base hits.
More base hits. That is not what all the other opponents want to hear out of that. But so you're starting at shortstop. How did you kind of settle into that role last year, and what did you learn that's going to make you better this year?
Well, last year playing second most of the time, that wasn't really new. I play second for travel, so that was something that I was like, okay, I'm going to try to be a leader as best as I can. This year I would say it's a little bit of an adjustment, obviously being on a different side of the field, but I feel like I've done well so far in preseason. I try to focus on talking and making sure everybody knows what they're going to do with the ball before it's hit to them, what like different plays that we're going to put on, and just trying to be a leader on the field.
As a younger player, what is it like, and how does that inspire you to see Macy and Sam and now Michaela lock up their opportunity to go play in college?
Well, I would say like that's definitely a goal of mine is to go play in college, and seeing them like in all their success, that really like that makes me very happy for them. I know they're all very happy about it, and that like for me that just I feel like it encourages the morale around the team as well, because you know that people have this opportunity to go farther with softball. So now I feel like everybody's just kind of lifted by that, and now we feel like, oh well, if they can do it, why can't we, kind of thing.
You've kind of already are in a leadership role just because you're a returning starter and you had such a great year last year, but next year and the year after, it's going to be your team. What have you learned from Michaela and Olivia and Samantha and Macy that you're going to be able to use to become an even better leader down the road?
I feel like one thing is just to like work with the underclassmen. I know that's something that a lot of people, they don't really think about that. Like you're like, oh, well, they're freshmen, they'll figure it out. Like I feel like everybody, we all work with each other and we all try to make each other better. That's something I plan on continuing, and also like being a leader on the field, on and off as well, in the dugout, outside of practice, all that kind of thing, just to like keep people like understanding like who we are at Crestwood and like what we believe in.
All right, Coach, I'll throw it back to you. What have been the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome here in the preseason?
I think it's just that influx of the youth that we have. We potentially have 4 or 5 freshmen that will be playing varsity for us. So I've kind of like put the onus on these ladies here is like what Bella had said, is to be the leaders for them and help bring them along. I mean, I'm only one coach, and with our assistants, we can't be at every station. So we kind of have delegated some of our responsibility to these players, because I think the players can relate more to the players than coaches can at times. And so like what Bella says with what we're trying to establish at Crestwood is, you know, taking those younger players, helping them. I know they get sick and tired of me hearing of increasing their softball IQ. Because each and every one of them need to know that they have some basically raw talent, but as far as like rotations and, you know, pitch counts that we look for and try to work into and things like that, they haven't played at that level yet. So with these girls basically having that under their belts, I think it's good for them to do it. So that challenge will be bringing those young players along, and hopefully quicker rather than later, so that they can have a major impact on our season this year.
Every team starts out, they want to win a conference title, want to win a district title, regionals, get to state, win a state title. But how are you going to measure success this year? What's it going to take for you to say, yep, we did what we wanted to do?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, putting aside the win and the loss column for that, it's going to be seeing the development in not just the younger, but in all the players, because I think I challenge these guys each and every day to improve in their softball IQ, to improve in the abilities that they have, just not to rest on them, but to challenge themselves internally to do better. So I think, you know, sometimes I think some people put too much emphasis upon statistics, because the statistics may not really indicate the competition that you went up against. And so you may look at that a little bit, but just seeing how these girls handle that and improve over what they did last year, I think that's going to be some of the main things that I may look at rather than the win and loss column.
All right, sounds good. Well, that is the Crestwood Red Devils, one of the defending CVC Valley Division champs. So glad you guys can make the trip, and best of luck to you this season. All right, that is the Crestwood Red Devils batting second to clean up here. Now we will have the Orange Lions boys tennis team stepping in to round out our CVC Spring Sports Media Day here at Independence High School. As I mentioned before, we've got 2 more events scheduled. We've got one next week on April 3rd out at Geneva. That will be the East version of our CVC Media Day, and then we'll close out the Spring Media Days on April 10th at Kirtland, trying to pull in our central teams here in the 22-team conference. That is the Chagrin Valley Conference. So up next, Orange Lions boys, Coach Rich Bowl. Coach, grab your microphone there. It's got a black switch. Just make sure that is in the up position, and then let's talk some tennis. I know you guys are coming off a season in which your doubles team won a state title. That's pretty exciting. So what have you seen out of your squad so far?
Well, we're excited about the upcoming season, Steve. I think, you know, we returned 6 out of our 7 starters from our state team title, as well as one of the 2 members of the team who won the state doubles title. We're also returning Ben Pomeranitz, who was second in the state in singles. So we've got a really great roster. The guys have been working hard, throughout the winter, which is really what it requires in tennis. It's a year-round sport that takes a tremendous time commitment to be competitive at the state level.
Especially the way that tennis is, where kids just start playing it and they focus on it, and you don't get too many multi-sport athletes that are being successful in tennis, and it takes a lot of discipline and time, and seems your kids are putting in that time.
Yeah, at Orange, we have opportunities through our rec program that start when they're about 4 years old, and a lot of our kids do that, and some of them become specialists. I think at the high school level, we do have some multi-sport athletes too, though. Usually they are a little lower down on the roster, but they're a vital part of, winning a state team championship for sure.
Right, and creating that depth and competition just in practices, just to get those elite kids a little bit better. You need everybody to step up and do that. But so run through your lineup. What can we expect this year?
Well, we're expecting Ben Pomeranitz to play #1 singles for us again. He's looking very strong, and he's wholly focused on trying to win a CVC title, which he didn't last year because he was second to Zimkoski of Chagrin.
Right.
As well as a sectional title, a district
and
title,
state.
and a state title. But he's going to see Andrew every step of the way. So that's really one of the great rivalries in high school sports right now. At second singles, we're going to move Chika Nwazuzu, defending state doubles title, sophomore, from the doubles roster over to singles. He's going to play #2 probably for us. And then on the doubles side, we're going to be moving Jake Goldstein and Gabi Kalir, who were state qualifiers last year, from #2 doubles up to #1 doubles. So very excited to see what they can do in terms of, making a push towards going to state again, and then also making some noise at the state level.
I have to imagine that with what you're returning and the success they had last year, your expectations are just through the roof.
Yeah, our expectations are really high, but I think, for us as a coaching staff, one of the most important things is to focus more on process than on goal, end goals and results. You know what I mean? If they keep getting better individually and as doubles teams, then things will take care of themselves. I think the great thing about us is, we play in that CVC Chagrin division with Zimkoski and Chagrin Falls Tigers, with the Hawken Hawks, who are all elite state-ranked teams. And so, they're challenged every step of the way, and ultimately whoever comes out of that gauntlet usually is a strong contender as a team, and then, the players who emerge individually and as doubles teams are contenders as well.
You guys have had a really good run over the last 4 or 5 years with Blessing and the girl this fall. Alexis Nyborg, yes. Gosh, it seems like so long ago. It was just fall, but like all these sports, they just keep rolling in. So it seems like forever ago. But yeah, and she's only a junior, right, or a sophomore?
She's going to be a senior next year.
Right,
so
she's a junior.
Now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you've had this great run, Blessing, her 2 brothers, Ben, Alexis, and that's got to be doing wonders for you.
The beauty of having kids like that in the program is they drag other kids along.
That's what I was going to say.
So like a player like our captain this year, Jake Goldstein, was really a marginal varsity player his freshman year, and now he's hoping to be possibly even all-state in doubles. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that comes from working with Chika on the practice court, working with his brother Josh, working with Ben. We're really looking forward to what Krish Mara and Ace Bloom can do this year. Those are younger players for us who are, working their way up as athletes. Ace Bloom is an example of a multi-sport athlete who we have. He's played some football and basketball for Orange.
And then the peripheral side of that is people in the community take notice, and now their kids get involved, and it just kind of builds this program. It's got to be exciting.
That's it. I mean, I know there are a lot of high school tennis programs out there that struggle to fill a varsity roster. We have a varsity A team, a varsity B team, a JV team, and over 40 kids in our program.
That's ridiculous in such a good way.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
When you talk about high school sports in general, and baseball numbers are down, football numbers are down. That's great just to see a program thriving that way.
It is. Tennis actually had a bump as a consequence of COVID because of the socially distanced nature of the sport. even though obviously 2 seasons ago we were washed out as the whole, CVC
Right.
conference was, actually tennis, saw an increase in participation, and we've been able to sustain that, at least at Orange. So
That is great. So when you look at this year, what kind of goals do you have? I mean, obviously they're high, but have you penciled them in? Have you inked them in?
We don't talk about it that much within our program because sometimes I think it's counterproductive, especially when they're so high. But, everybody knows that we have big goals. I mean, first and foremost for us is always to get by Hawken and Chagrin and Beechwood, which are, those are all state powerhouses. Well, Beechwood's down a little right now, but Chagrin and Hawken are big-time competitors for us. So we try to take it one match at a time, 1 point at a time, 1 game at a time, and see where we end up. But, it is true that we would like nothing more than to repeat as state team champions.
When you go down to the state tournaments and things like that, what is the discussion about this CVC? Do other coaches talk about it? Because it's a good league.
Yeah. Well, in tennis, it's not just good, it's great, And, I think we told everybody who would listen when we were down there that, hey, this state final match is between 2 kids from the CVC, And I think people know about it. People know, what a culture of tennis we have kind of over there on the east side of Cleveland with some of those racket clubs that are over there. And they know when they're facing NEO and kids from the CVC that it's going to be tough, no doubt about it.
And that starts sectionals, districts, and I look at the results when you go down to state, and it's, even the kids from Northeast that aren't in the CVC, the Laurel kids, and schools like that, they're down there and placing at state, and it's like we've got a pretty good collection of talent up here.
We do, yeah. I mean, usually we go head to head with. There's a similar area down by Cincinnati, and those are the 2 kind of powerhouses of Ohio high school tennis, no doubt about that.
Absolutely. So, all right, Coach. Well, we've got since it's just you, we're short. But anything else you want to add about your team? You return a ton of talent, high expectations. The league is outstanding.
Yep. I mean, it's an exciting time to be a part of tennis in the CVC, no doubt about it. I think the only other thing I would add is just that, I'm just proud of how our guys have matured in terms of being ambassadors for the game, representing our area and representing the sport as they progress through those levels and get a lot of visibility. They really all of them get a fair amount of media attention, whether it's through, the Chagrin Valley Times, the Plain Dealer, the Cleveland Jewish News, and so I'm just proud of how they've all matured as young men, in terms of developing into leaders for our program and then also ambassadors for the game.
Outstanding. Well, I appreciate you making out the trip and accommodating my time shift there, so I didn't have to wait for 4 hours.
Yeah,
but
no problem. Unfortunately, I couldn't get any players.
Yeah, that's
me,
okay. Yeah, no, we'll take
we'll bring
it.
them next year, and I'll try to get Alexis in for the fall. So.
Outstanding. I appreciate you making the trip. That's Coach Rich Bowl from Orange Boys Tennis, girls as well, right?
That's right.
All right. So, yeah, that is going to close out our 2022 CVC Spring Sports Media Day here from Independence. As I mentioned, next week we will be out at Geneva on Sunday, April 3rd, and then we will close out our trifecta of media days the following week on April 10th at Kirtland. I am Steve Hare, the CVC Sports Information Director. I am going to leave you with a spot from our sponsor of CVC TV, the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. I appreciate you all tuning in, and best of luck this spring.
Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery diagnoses and treats facial pain and injuries, and also offers a full range of dental implants and bone grafting procedures. Look no further than the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery for all of your oral surgery and cosmetic surgery needs. Please visit their website at www.ohsurgery.com.